Good afternoon, race fans, wherever you may be today, and welcome. Welcome to the 2020 H1 Unlimited E League Racing Series. Today, it is race number 2 on the E League Racing Circuit, and we are coming to you from Madison, Indiana, where the Ohio River separates Indiana and Kentucky. And today, today is something special. Today, our H1 Unlimited E League hydroplanes will compete for the American Powerboat Association Gold Cup. First contested in 1904, it is the oldest active motorsports trophy in the world. Let that sink in for a moment. My name is Brad Luce, and along with my broadcast partner, we will do our very best to keep you apprised of all the action today, both on and off the water, and there should be plenty of it. And speaking of my broadcast partner today, well, again, he really needs no introduction. He has been around hydroplane racing his entire life, eventually becoming an official member of Bill Worcester's U8 team. Since graduating to crew chief in 1997, he has claimed 7 race victories, including the 2006 APBA Gold Cup and the UIM World Championship. Today, he and wife Shannon together own the U11, the J&D's hydroplane. Please join me in welcoming Scott Rainey to the broadcast tower. Scott, welcome, my friend. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Thanks for having me, and this is quite an honor and a privilege to be part of the first E-League Gold Cup event here in Madison, Indiana.
It is pretty exciting indeed. And a little bit about the Gold Cup itself and our racing format. This is going to be a little bit different than we saw a couple of weeks ago in Guntersville because it is the Gold Cup. The Gold Cup was originally developed and came into being as more of an endurance race. And toward that end, instead of having 3 heat sections, we'll actually have 4. Now, the preliminary heats will still be 3 laps, but there will be 4 preliminary heat sections. So everybody's going to run 4 times before we get to that final heat. And then, similar to what we did a couple of weeks ago, it is still a 5 lap winner take all final heat.
I've talked to multiple drivers about this race course, and it's quite different than Guntersville. They say it's quite a bit rougher, and it'll change the whole outcome of everything.
So again, we've always said this, but and you just put it out there, Scott. It is a driver's race course, and that's one of the great things about unlimited hydroplane racing and hydroplane racing at all levels. No 2 courses are exactly alike, and you've spent so many years as a crew chief. You know that probably as well as anyone because you're the guy that has to set the boat up differently for each race course around the country.
Well, and the thing about racing a 4-heat format is y- your points count every heat, so you have to complete the race to start out with. It's a survival contest. You don't win the final heat in the first heat or the second heat of the day. So you need to survive, and then of course try to improve your position along the way.
Well, and we've said that many times at boat races. You can't win whatever heat we're or whatever race we're at. And of course, it's emphasized even more being the 4 section Gold Cup. You can't win it in the first heat, but you can sure as heck lose it if you get yourself in trouble and start scoring no points. So it's going to be a lot of very tight racing. We have what we like to refer to, Scott, as a full field of boats. We've got 12 boats here. And again, back to our format a little bit, we're going to run 3 heat sections or 3 sections of heat 1, 3 heats in heat 2, 3, and 4 because of the tight Madison race course here on the Ohio River. So we'll have 4 boats in each of our preliminary heats. And then when we come time to go to the final heat, we'll take our 6 boats with the most points, put 5 of them on the front row with 1 trailer, winner take all final. Scott, you've been a part of a Gold Cup winning team in the past. Talk a little bit about that. It really is something special.
Oh yeah, it's a great feeling to put it all together and win a Gold Cup, and it's something every person that's involved in hydroplane racing is striving, to accomplish. So that being said, like I said, it's just going to be a giant survival contest here today, and the best man's going to win.
Well, that's the way we want it to be. And for those of you that are joining us for the very first time watching our E League, a little bit about the boats, the teams, and the drivers. You will recognize the boats if you followed H1 Unlimited Racing. And as for the drivers, similar to H1 Unlimited Real Competition, where you have the very best drivers on the planet that control those boats. It's the same thing here today with these E League drivers. They have been chosen by the real race teams to drive their boats and represent their team on the water. So, just like the real stuff, Scott, these are the best. This is the creme de la creme.
Absolutely, they are. And I mean, if you start to see some of these qualifying results that are showing up here, I mean, these guys are very close together. They're very evenly matched from top to bottom.
Yeah, take a look at that. Our top qualifier at 156.276 miles an hour. DJ Miller driving the bright red U7 Spirit of Detroit. He's at 156.2. And look right below him there, about three doors down to Travis Johnson and the J&Ds. 154.4. He's the slowest qualifier. That's pretty tight. I don't think you've ever seen one quite that tight in the real racing.
That's only a separation of about a half of a second. So it's a pretty tightly matched field, and it'll be exciting to, see what happens here.
Well, I'm ready to get to it. And so we're just about to start. We're going to pull up some heat draws here. Let's find out who is going to run against whom in our heats 1A, 1B, and 1C.
Hey, Unlimited Hydroplane Racing fans, it's Steve David here, calling you from, I guess, the retirement home. But they've asked if I would do the draw for heats A, B, and C tomorrow in the first set for the race in Madison, Indiana. I'm doing it today on a Friday. It races tomorrow on a Saturday. And don't forget also to visit HydroSim. The gang with H1 Now is doing their best to keep us all entertained while we're dealing with this COVID crisis. So enjoy the races tomorrow. I'm glad to be a part of this, and I hope everybody is doing well and healthy. So, Heat 1A, the 6, the 3, the 99.9, and the 21. So, Heat 1A, 21, 99.9, 3, and the 6. Heat 1B, drawing these out of a hat. It's neutral. 12, the 11, the 9, and the 7. So the 7, the 9, the 11, and the 12. And finally in Heat 1C, this is for Madison, Indiana, the number 10, the 440, the 21, and the 98. So again in Heat 1C, the 98, the 21, the 440, and the 10. Hey, have a great E-race in Madison, Indiana on Saturday, tomorrow. It's good seeing you guys. Stay well. Enjoy the races again. Follow HydroSim. Take care. Bye-bye.
Welcome back, race fans. We are about ready to go for our Heat 1A. Thanks to Steve David for doing the honors there. Good to see Steve. Haven't seen him for a while. And so now we are just about ready to go racing. Before we do, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank some of our sponsors who have stepped up and made today's broadcast possible. I'd like to start with our friends at Jesse's Stitches, custom embroidery, and much more. They've been located in Snohomish, Washington since 1990. If you've been around boat racing for very long, you know the name Atomic Screen Printing, a leading Northwest producer of high quality screen printed and embroidered products since 1998. And Staples. Staples, they are your one stop shop for all your home office needs. Thank you to our sponsors. And now I think we're about ready to go racing here. We've talked about it. We've had the intro. Scott, you ready to go? I know I am.
Yeah, we're all ready.
And I understand we are inside 30 seconds to a 5-minute gun. Those of you that were watching a couple of weeks ago, you may remember a 6-minute mark when the boats came out on the race course. We're actually running on a 5-minute mark today. And what they will do, the drivers will get a notation in about 12 seconds that they can bring the boats out on the race course, and we'll be ready to go. And we are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to the start of our Heat 1A. It is the APBA Gold Cup from Madison, Indiana. Our boats in this heat, recapping them again, the U3, the Go 3 Racing presents Griggs Ace Hardware, Cy Bowen behind the wheel. He's going to be joined by the powder blue and white U6 Miss Home Street, driven today by Kelsey Best. The U21, Daryl Strong presents Paint West Insurance. Mickey Washburn will handle the driving chores today in that one. And then the bright orange U99.9 Bucket List presents Miss Rocks, Eddie Canfouche. We've got some fast ones in this first heat, Scott Rainey. As we saw a couple of weeks ago in Guntersville, our preliminary heats were extremely competitive. I don't expect anything different here.
No, this is going to be incredible. Eddie Canfouche and Cy Bowen, those two kids are going to go at it pretty hard, and then don't forget about the wily veteran Mickey Washburn there. He what did he finish second overall last weekend? So I mean this should be good, and be fun to watch. And of course, don't forget about the local Home Street boat.
Absolutely. The boat is owned by the 13,000 faithful in Madison, Indiana. Now running with the Home Street blue and white colors of the Home Street Bank. 3:30 until the start. Kelsey Best will handle that. You were talking about Mickey Washburn, Scott, and you are exactly right. He was second place down there in Guntersville, and that was a second place by about 2.5 boat lengths. That was really close. And there was some terrific racing all day long, and it carried right on into the final. So now we'll start watching our score-up procedure here. A little bit about our start procedure is we can't monitor these boats for 80 miles an hour, so we don't try to. So instead, we have a score-up buoy, which is the exit buoy, the bright yellow exit buoy at the exit of turn number 1, and the boats cannot go past that exit buoy of turn 1 prior to the 1-minute gun. So we'll watch that. If they do, they will incur a penalty. So that's an important part, not only of the racing, but certainly of our start procedure. And it kind of adds a new element to it this time, Scott. The guys got to stay behind that buoy or they're going to get themselves in trouble.
Yeah, it makes it interesting, and these guys are all already up there in the corner fighting for position.
2:20 until our start. You see, we got Kelsey Best in the Home Street. He's already down there into that lower corner first. And then right behind him is Cy Bowen in the U3, the piston-powered Griggs Ace Hardware. And they're going to see how slow they can go. And then we'll see if there's any shenanigans or any games going to be played. Look at the boat sitting down there in the corner, not even moving. And here comes Mickey Washburn. He hasn't made a decision yet that he wants to join that party at all just yet. And there's different ways to handle this start procedure. We'll see what Mickey's idea is. And Scott, one thing I've always said in watching boat racing, and this doesn't seem to be any different, if you've got a really, really good move to grab lane 1 in your start procedure, you probably don't want to show it in Heat 1A. You want to save that one for a little later on in the afternoon.
Absolutely, and it appears that Eddie driving the 99.9, he kind of pulled a fast one on the other two guys parked up there and drove around them and leapfrogged them. So now we got to watch what's Mickey going to do here.
So we're coming up on and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. There's your 1-minute gun. Now we're going to watch Mickey Washburn on the outside. Is he going to try and do a leapfrog? The score up was clean, so everybody's good. Is Washburn going to be able to leapfrog and get to the inside? Doesn't look like it. Looks like he's going to be on the outside. Looks like Kelsey Best is going to be in lane number 1. Eddie Canfouche is going to be in 2, driving the 99.9. It's going to be Cy Bowen driving the 3, Griggs Ace Hardware in lane 3. And then on the outside, Mickey Washburn going to try and wind it up and bring a lot of speed to that start-finish line. They can change lanes up the backstretch, but once they get to the entrance buoy that they just went past, that's the yellow buoy that just went out of your screen, once they get to that buoy, they have to hold their lane all the way to the start finish line, and then standard overlap rules apply. So we're inside 10 seconds now to the start. Put your boat on the line. Look at Washburn with a lot of speed. We are 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and mark. Washburn hit the line with a carload of speed. He's on the far outside. The start has been ruled clean. Everybody was legal. Washburn's on the outside, going to get down to that lower corner first, but he's got a lot of traffic inside of him on the left side. Rear view mirror, we almost had a collision. Eddie Canfrews flipped. The bucket list missed walk 99.9. He is out of it. Up the backstretch. So look at that, Scott Rainey. We are deck to deck up the backstretch on the first of 3 times around the course. Kelsey Best and Mickey Washburn going at it.
Wow, what a start there by Mickey Washburn there. Blazing speed, held him tight in the corner, and he forced the other 2 guys to make a mistake behind him. The 3 boat got up in his white water, and then of course Eddie Canfouche had a problem. So this is turning out to be a whale of a race, though.
Here we go again, literally deck to deck down the front straightaway on the second of 3 times around. Who gets down to the lower corner first? Probably Kelsey Best, maybe by a boat length. And look at Cy Bowen, not out of this yet. We've lost 21. We lost Mickey Washburn in the 21. He went way up in the air. The boat has been ruled to have not gone completely over. Therefore, he is allowed to come back and race. So he saved it. He is not out of it. But one thing for sure, it is all Kelsey Best driving the 6 for the hometown fans in Madison, Indiana. You can almost hear them cheering in your ears, Scott. They're pretty happy.
Oh, they have to be. Here's the inaugural Gold Cup event for E-Racing League, and Madison's finest winning the race, the first heat.
He is down to the lower corner on the third of 3 times around, looking for Cy Bowen. He is running in second place, but right now he is not providing any competition to Kelsey Best. Kelsey's just got to keep it on the water and bring it around about another half a lap, and he will claim 400 points. And Scott, that's what you were talking about. These preliminary heats are all about gathering points and finding your way into the final. The 6 boats with the most points after everybody runs 4 times, they get to run in the Gold Cup final heat and a chance to win the big cup. Kelsey Best taking a big step right here.
Yeah, there's 400 big points for him right there.
He is across. Kelsey Best, 400 points, a first place finish. Second place, I believe, will go to Cy Bowen. Third place should go to Mickey Washburn, driving a 21. The Darrell Strong presents Payne West Insurance. Boy, we wanted some close deck-to-deck action. Scott, we got that, but I think we got a little bit more than we bargained for there. We had a couple of boats way up in the air on that one. Both Mickey and Eddie Canfrews got their boats way
Hey,
out.
Unlimited Hydroplane Racing fans, it's
My
Steve
absolute
David here,
favorite part about watching this, and they get the boats crashed and upside down, is
heats,
we don't have to fix anything. We just reset the computer and on we go.
First set for the race in Madison, Indiana. I'm doing it today on a Friday, racing tomorrow on a Saturday. And don't forget also to visit
boats back together again.
The gang with H1 now is doing their best to keep us all entertained.
Looking at a little bit of a replay here of what went on down in that first.
I'm glad to be a part of this, and I hope everybody's doing well and healthy. So,
it was ruled clean. The officials were looking at a replay of that first turn, and specifically they were looking at Mickey Washburn to make sure, Scott, that he left enough room for those boats that got a little tight in turn 1 on lap 1. And Eddie couldn't hold it.
David's video in the background on the street.
But they have ruled that it was all legal. So the way we called them across is the way they will finish. Put 400 points down. Kelsey Best. This home streak. That's a good start. Here's the replay there. And the ruling was that Mickey Washburn did not encroach on any of the boats to his left side. On the inside, part and parcel of all of that, it was ruled that Eddie Canfrews did not hold his lane and basically caused his own accident by sliding outside. That's the rule. Sometimes those calls are difficult, but they are made very quickly. So good racing in Heat 1A. We're gonna see if we can get Kelsey Best. See if we can't grab him here for a very quick interview. Got to be a happy guy after picking up 400 points for the hometown fans. Good start to the weekend.
Absolutely a good start for the weekend. I mean, that's a good position to be in.
Kelsey Brad Luce here, along with Scott Rainey. I guess there's an old line that Bernie Little used to say, something about before you can win them all, you've got to win the first one. That's a heck of a good start to the weekend for you guys.
Thanks, Brad. Yeah, it was a bit of a rough go getting ready for this race. Last night, 11:30, my computer died on me, and I had it in pieces last night. It felt like a real boat race. I was thrashing until about 1 a.m. trying to get stuff back together. It was pretty incredible. But yes, it's definitely nice to get that first one out of the way and get a win. Obviously, much better than last week, or last race. So, would like to thank Home Street Bank, Citizens of Madison, Indiana, as well as Staples, Atomic Screen Printing, Jesse Stitches, just having a blast at these events. Thank you.
Well, and congratulations. I like your comment about thrashing during the night. And of course, here you are, you're racing in front of the hometown fans in Madison. You get drawn into the first heat of the prestigious APBA Gold Cup, and you come home and a win. You got to feel good. You just provided that win for those folks in Madison. You know they're happy.
Oh, of course. It feels great. Obviously, there's a little bit of additional pressure. Obviously, this is all virtual, but we still want to put on a good show and put out a good result for Citizens of Madison. I'm happy to do that in this first race. I want to say thanks also to Jeff Bernard. Jim wasn't able to make it this weekend, and so got another Miss Madison teammate to do some radios. So just doing a good job.
Were you aware of the high wire act that went on behind you with a couple of the other drivers? There was a couple of us way up in the air.
Yeah, I was. This is a tough course. I think we're used to trying to follow each other quite closely, and on this course, you have to leave some space to get through clean. Especially once we get to the final, it's going to be very interesting going 5 laps around here with potentially 7 boats in the water.
Well, as a result of your thrash last night, everything went according to plan, I am sure. It looked perfect from where we were. Congratulations. It's a good start. We'll look for you further down the line, my friend.
Thank you, Brad. Thanks, Scott.
Kelsey Best right there, the winner of our Heat 1A of the 2020 H1 E-League APBA Gold Cup. Heat 1B is on deck, and we'll get a countdown, get our boats out on the water. While we do, I want to take this opportunity to remind everyone that H1 Unlimited is a proud club of the American Powerboat Association, that national authority for boat racing in the United States. The APBA is a member-driven organization established in 1903, and they are headquartered in East Point, Michigan. For more information on the American Powerboat Association, visit www.apba.org, the American Powerboat Association. And Scott Rainey, we don't go racing without the APBA, and you know that as well as anybody.
No, they've been instrumental in helping all the race sites with insurances and logistics and all that. And they're just an asset that's been around as long as I know.
But, well, 1903. So I don't think you're quite that old. You and I, especially me, I know I'm scratching the surface of some pretty big numbers, but not that big. So, but we don't go racing without them.
I think the last guy who did the heat draw before here was maybe around at that time.
All right, we're getting ready for our Heat 1B. We're going to have boats on the water in about 30 seconds. We'll have our next field of 4 boats. The 7, the 9, the 11, and the 12. We'll get them out on the water. Inside
we get our top
10
qualifier.
Seconds. Yes, we do. 1 and mark. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to the start of our Heat 1B. And as you just mentioned, we've got our top qualifier coming out here. Look at the boats coming away from the dock there. Always a beautiful sight from the drone here in Madison as the boats come out on the water. We see 3 of our 4 right there. You're looking at the 7, Spirit of Detroit with DJ Miller, top qualifier. He is away from the dock. On the left side is the black, silver, and red of the U12 Graham Trucking. Quentin Miller behind the wheel. He was our big winner 2 weeks ago in Guntersville. And if Quentin looks out his right side rear view mirror, he's going to see Scott Przbilski driving the U9, the Delta Real Track. Looking for Travis Johnson in the J&Ds, the U11, and he will be out here joining him. Quentin Miller, I'm sure you got to see that race a couple of weeks ago, Scott Rainey. He drove a whale of a final heat.
Now that was we were on our edge of our seats watching that final heat. Those guys were side by side for multiple laps, and finally Quentin just eased away a little bit and won, and that was quite an accomplishment.
It'll be a while before I forget the interview with him following the race because, like you said, you were on the edge of your seat, and Andrew Tate was working with me doing some color commentary. He said he was pacing back and forth in his room, and then we get Quentin on the phone, and he said he and his brother were screaming and yelling around the house. It means something to do this, and so I think we've definitely found some excitement to put out there for the fans who are hungry to see some boat racing, and this is what we've got for them.
Well, I think all these drivers want to win, and they want to win badly. I mean, they're competitive. It doesn't matter if they're going to race virtually or if they're going to race in real life. It doesn't matter. You put somebody behind the wheel or something, and they all want to win. You want to add a little bit of rivalry into here. You got the two brothers racing against each other in this heat also.
Yes, we do, with DJ Miller and Quentin Miller here. So let's take a look at our field again one more time. It is the predominantly red U7 Spirit of Detroit with DJ Miller behind the wheel. Scott Przbilski will drive the U9, the Delta Real Track. That is the predominantly white boat trimmed in fluorescent yellow and orange. The J&Ds, the U11, as we like to call it, the Chartreuse and Carnival Orange J&Ds driven by Travis Johnson. The U12, the red, black, and silver Graham Trucking Quentin Miller. I guess I got to throw it out right now, but Scott Rainey, I got to think you're partial to that beautiful U11 J&Ds.
Oh, absolutely. And come on, Travis, our driver, Travis Johnson. He's a hometown from Madison citizen also. So I mean, he's going to do his best here, and we'll just see what happens.
2 minutes until the start, and by the way, Scott, we do allow some partiality here, so that's just fine. You can you can put a little "go get 'em, Travis" anytime you want to. So our score up here before the start, as we're inside 2 minutes to the start of our Heat 1B, is underway and in earnest as our boats are trolling down the front straightaway. Here comes Travis, aforementioned, from Madison, Indiana, coming down across the start-finish line. He's going to head down. He's going to find two boats sitting down there at the entrance to turn number one, as we are now inside 130 down to 125 until our start. Boats are still spread out a bit. Sometimes you'll see the boats troll very slowly through the corner like you're seeing right there. And that's Quentin Miller on the inside. Scott Przbilski right next to him as we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. We are 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. It is a clean score up. I paused there. I'm monitoring the official radio there. We were told it is clean. Now keep an eye on DJ Miller there. He's got a big lead. Was he able to move over and grab a lane a little further to the inside? Doesn't appear like it. Everybody's going to get very close as they approach the entrance to turn two. Thought we might have some lane change in there, Scott, but it didn't happen. But it got close there for a minute.
Well, I saw that Travis in that 11 boat was looking to move over, but he just didn't have the correct overlap, so he had to come back over.
And again, this is not the heat that you take a chance like that on. Points are so important. Inside 20 seconds, looks like we're going to have Quentin in lane one. Przbilski in the nine's going to be in two. And then on the far outside is going to be DJ Miller. I believe Travis is going to be in three. We're inside 10 seconds to the start. Travis will be in three. 2 seconds, one. Mark it. Oh my goodness. Scott Przbilski with a lot of boat speed at the start. He's in lane number two. He's got Quentin Miller just off to the left of him, and coming up on the outside is DJ Miller, but he had a lot of boat speed. He's Scott Przbilski, and as such, he's got the lead to the corner. Officials are telling us the start is good. The start's clean. Przbilski had a lot of speed, Scott, when he hit the line.
He sure did. He nailed it. Led everybody across, and now he's in charge of the race course. He can drive wherever he wants.
It's exactly right. And boy, wherever timing marks he's got, I'd keep those for later on in the day because he nailed it. So, but he's still got a lot of red in the left side and the right side rear view mirror. He can't make a mistake here because he's got Quentin Miller off to the left, DJ Miller off to the right, and they're both trying to run down the young man from San Diego, Scott Krzybilski, on lap number 2, driving the 9, the Delta Real track. But it's almost a full rooster tail lead as they enter the top end of the race course. But I can tell you what, Scott, Mr. Przybylski is not opening up any water. Quentin Miller does not want to let him go.
No, both of the Miller brothers there, they are holding Scott honest here and having a nice race amongst themselves.
Yeah, so much for getting the jump on everybody at the start and running away and hiding. Now he's opened up maybe a little bit of water, but see if Quentin can make up some ground here at the lower end of the race course. DJ's dropped back just a little bit on the outside. Quentin almost got into the rooster tail. About 3/4 of a rooster tail lead up the backstretch on the third and final time around the race course. Scott Przybylski driving at 9, the Delta Real track for Mike and Lori Jones, as their boat is into the top end of the race course. Simply needs to come off of this turn clean, come down, and he too will score first place and 400 points. He's off the turn clean. He comes down. He looks to his right. He sees the checkered flag. He looks to his left, and he'll see when they come. Excuse me, they are on the backstretch here. I got my loss of reference point there. Top end of the race course. Now this will be the final turn here. You see the view that Quentin Miller has on the inside. Scott driving him clean. Scott Rainey, he's definitely driving him clean, leaving him plenty of room.
Oh, you get a great view when they flash the inside the cockpit mode, and you see how much room Scott left him there. So that was a gentleman's corner for sure.
Certainly was, and he will come down and pick up the 400 first place points. Second place will go to Quentin Miller driving a Grant Trucking, the U12. Our third place boat, DJ Miller driving the 7 Spirit of Detroit. And here comes our fourth place point. That'll be the J&Ds, the U11 with Travis Johnson. The important part here for your 11 J&Ds, though, Scott Rainey, Travis started, he finished, he got points. Those points are going to come in handy later on in the day.
Yeah, probably not the finish that he wanted or was striving for. He didn't get a great start, got down to the corner a little late, and by that time, DJ Miller had moved over and taken his lane away. I guess the good side to it is, yep, he got some points. It's better than a big 0.
It's better than a goose egg, and we had a goose egg in our Heat 1A, so that can come back to bite you. I apologize to our fans watching as I got a little bit mixed up and turned around. I glanced away from the screen for a moment. When I did, I had the wrong straightaway here. My point of reference went away, but we got it squared away. So there's our final finish order. And Scott, do we have you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Scott. Brad Luce here with Scott Rainey, and boy, did you impress us with the start. You hit the line perfect with a ton of boat speed.
Thanks. Yeah, that was pretty tough. These guys are pretty tough to race against.
Well, you made a great start there, and I mean that you were able to control the race course position, virtually push them where you wanted to go, and that dictated the whole race. Your start did it.
Yeah, it's all about the start here. You got to hit it on time. First to the turn usually comes out in first in this one.
Well, I made the comment, though, about lap number 2, that if you looked in both your left and right side rear view mirror, not only did you see a Miller on each side, but you saw a lot of red on each side. Those guys didn't want to let you go for sure.
Yeah, both those guys are really fast. It's hard with both of them in your mirrors.
Well, you know what? So, Scott, obviously, I don't know if you have a leg up on everybody here as far as the competition. Some people might think you do because this is your game. You are actually the creator of this game, but I don't think they give you any break in that matter. You still got to go out and beat them. These guys are awfully good.
I am. Yeah, all these guys do a lot more practicing than I do. I feel like I spend more time working on the game than driving, but recently I've been trying to put in some more practice time so I can keep up with them.
Well, us boat race fans and people involved in the sport really appreciate all your contributions to this. This is a great event, and we're really thankful of all your hard work and efforts.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've been a huge fan for my whole life, so it's been my my pleasure working on this game. I'm glad I could help out with all the COVID stuff going on right now.
Well, I don't think it could be said any better than Scott Rainey just did. Fans all around the world, thank you for what you've done. This is really a lot of fun. And I know you're never done with it. You're constantly tweaking the game. I know there were a couple of updates made between the Guntersville race 2 weeks ago and this one. You're always trying to make it just a little bit better.
Yep, I'm constantly working on it, trying to make it a little bit better, and yeah, made some tweaks to the rooster tails to try and make it a little more realistic. Shortened them up so that it should be easier to leapfrog a little bit without cutting people off, and fix lots of bugs.
Well, we appreciate all that you've done, but from a racing standpoint, congratulations. You got 400 points out of your first heat. First heat win of the day for you, first run for the day for you, and you're off to a good start. We'll look for you later on down the road.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks to my sponsors, Delta Gear and Real Track Performance, and thanks to Staples and Atomic Screen Printing for sponsoring the whole series.
Well, thank you,
Thanks.
you, Scott. Have a good rest of the weekend. We'll be looking for you.
All right, thank you.
You bet. Scott Przybylski. So just because he developed the race, Scott Rainey, that doesn't mean he gets any advantage on anybody. As he actually said it, the other guys practice more, so they actually have the advantage on him. He's always trying to tweak the game and make it better.
Well, that was an impressive drive, no doubt about it. And he can program and write all the code and everything, but you still have to execute it with the the hand-eye coordination. And obviously he did a pretty good job right there.
He did indeed. And while we wait for our Heat 1C boats to get on the water, we'll just quickly like to again say thank you to Atomic Screen Printing, Jesse's Stitches, and the fine folks at Staples. Staples, the one-stop shop for all your home office needs. Our sponsors are critical to all forms of motorsports, and it's no different here on the H1 Unlimited E-League. We enjoy our sponsors and thank them for their participation in our sport. Heat 1C is on deck. The last heat of our first section. Got 4 boats ready to go. We are told, somebody's whispering in my ear, we're coming up on 5 seconds to the 5-minute mark. We are 2-1 mark. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to the start of our Heat 1C. And let's take a look at the 4 boats that are going to come out on the water as we watch that beautiful sight here in Madison, Indiana, of the colorful H1 Unlimited hydroplanes come away from the dock. In this one, we're going to be looking for Peyton Hopp behind the wheel of the black and gold Spirit of Detroit 2, the U10. You will remember if you watched the race in Guntersville, Peyton wasn't driving. We had a substitute driver for him 2 weeks ago because Peyton had a conflict with the schedule, but good to see him back behind the wheel of his own boat. The black and gold Spirit of Detroit 2, the U10, going to be joined by another gold and black boat, the Goodman Real Estate, Tim Johnson behind the wheel of that one. That's the U91. You can't miss Matt Johnson's ride, the U98, the Graham Trucking American Dream. It is red, white, and blue, very patriotic on the water. And rounding out our field, the bright orange, Tennessee orange as they call it, the U440, Bucket List Racing 2, Bo Rarick behind the wheel as we climb on board with Bo Rarick here and get a look at him driving around this Bill Cantrell race course here on the Ohio River in Madison, Indiana, as he comes down the front straightaway past the cranes there in the background. Just off to his left and behind him just a little bit, you see Matt Johnson driving the Graham Trucking American Dream. Lots of color in this one, even for the colorblind guys like me, Scott Rainey. This will be fun.
Yeah, I was sitting here trying to evaluate who might be the favorite in this one. And I mean, this is a toss-up. They're all so closely matched in qualifying and based off of their performance last week or last race at there in Guntersville. I mean, you can't pick them. Who's going to go choose an inside lane and like what just happened in the last heat, who's going to make a good start?
Who's going to make the big start? And we heard the creator he made the comment, the start is so critical because these boats are so fast and they're so equal. And these guys have spent so much time learning how to handle them. And it's not just a mash the gas, go straight, get to a corner, and turn left. You really have to control the canard wing on these things. And it is very delicate. And I'm not speaking from experience because I haven't done it. I tried once, it didn't end well, but in talking with these drivers, it is a real delicate balance. You got to fly this thing. I mean, just like the real McCoy, you got to fly it out of the water if you're going to go fast. And if you don't, you're going to sit down in the water, get a lot of drag, and you just won't have as much speed.
Yeah, and I bet you if this holds true to what happened last race, there's a big crowd up there at Sharon and Kelly Stockland's cheering on this 440 boat. They watched it on the TV up there at the race shop, and I heard a rumor that the '98 team, Matt Johnson's boat, all that team is down there at the Milton Boat Shop watching this race right now also. So I'm sure they have a lot of people yelling at the TV screen here.
Well, hello to all those folks. They both of those two teams, as you called the two boats out there, their boats were center on the screen there for a moment, and we'll wish them the best of luck. I'll tell you, going into the final heat 2 weeks ago in Guntersville, I thought maybe the boat to beat was Matt Johnson in that red, white, and blue American Dream Graham trucking boat. Wasn't to be, but I was very impressed. I was very impressed with all of the boats. Coming up on 20 seconds here to our 1 minute mark. We see the boats trolling. The boats are spread out a little bit here, but it looks definitely like we've got Hop sitting on the inside. Coming up behind him is the rest of the field. 2 seconds, 1 second mark. Looked pretty clean from here. It was a clean score up, so we get in our ear on the outside there goes Matt Johnson on the outside. Is he going to be able to leapfrog over anybody? Doesn't look like he's going to. And our lanes are going to have to hold right there on the inside. It's the 10. It's Peyton Hop. That is the black and gold hydroplane. Next to him in lane number 2, that's going to be the 91, the black and gold Goodman Real Estate, Tim Johnson behind the wheel. And then coming up behind the field, probably with more boat speed, is going to be Bo Rerig driving the Bucket List 2. We'll keep an eye on the clock. We're inside 25 seconds. Now look how tight they get to that corner. They are right next to each other, the two black and gold boats. That's the 10 on the inside with Peyton Hop, the 91 next to him with Tim Johnson. Inside 15 seconds until our start. They are off the sector pin, and here comes on the outside Bo Rerig in the blue. Is he going to bring? Oh, if he's got the time, he might have beauty. We are 1 second mark, and we are racing in Heat 1C. We got it in our ear from the officials. It was a legal start. Everybody is clean. Matt Johnson from lane number 3 is going to take that red, white, and blue boat down to the first corner in first place. Now he's got to leave room for the two boats off to his left. Oh, Scott Rainey, look at that. He definitely left room. They're coming out tight, but that was a good corner for Matt. He left enough room in there.
That was an incredible corner. All of them held their lines perfectly. The 98 boat didn't slide out, didn't pinch in. He left the two inside boats just enough room.
Oh, look at this. Right, they get very close there. We almost had some contact. There might be a little bit of paint rubbed off the 91 onto the 98, and now the two black and gold boats are out front. They may have swapped a little paint there. Really tight racing as we come down the straightaway here and head into this lower corner here on the completion of lap number 1. And out front was Matt Johnson, but he's now dropped back to third based on what happened at the top end of the race course last time. And now it is our two black and gold boats. What a race we got going. It is Peyton Hop and Tim Johnson up the backstretch. But I'll tell you what, don't count out Matt Johnson. He's still got his sights set on those two boats. But Scott Rainey, does not get any closer than those two boats right now here on lap number 2.
This is downright incredible. These guys are just going at it.
This is awesome. They get very, very close together there, but they're clean all the way. These guys really know what they're doing. And if you can pick a leader right now, as we put lap number 2 in the books, you're better than I am. Goodman Real Estate on the outside, Tim Johnson on the inside, Peyton Hop in his first heat on the H1 E-League Series because he missed Guntersville. He's showing that he knows how to handle his race boat. We're on a third of 3 times around the race course. I don't know who's going to get this one. I I might bet heavy on a black and gold boat, but they both are. Look at them fly the boats up the backstretch. My goodness, Tim's really got a lot of air underneath that 91. Don't want to blow it over now. You've got 300 points in the bag, but he wants those 400 first place points. He's sniffing them. Now, off the corner here, they are going to come down the front straightaway. Checkered flag is waiting, and it looks like this is going to go to Peyton on the inside, driving the Spirit of Detroit 2. He's going to take a first place finish. Second place to Tim Johnson, Goodman Real Estate. Matt Johnson will bring home the Graham Trucking American Green, and Bo Rarig will come down in the bright orange Bucket List Racing 2. Scott Rainey, no question, that was our best heat of the day. That one did not disappoint. That was a good one.
Boy, there was a lot of action there. You know, good start by the 98 there, Tim Johnson in the Graham Trucking boat, and you know they get down into the corner and bump a little bit there, and then the 91 boat takes over, and then on the start of lap 3, Peyton Hopp had an incredible first corner, and that's what won the race for him right there.
Yeah, wow, that was good stuff. That was really good stuff. And fans, if you like that, we're going to be doing it all afternoon. That is the completion of our Heat 1. We have run sections A, B, and C. We are now going to put all of the ping pong balls with the boat's numbers on them back in the hat. We're going to have a celebrity come out and do our draws for our Heat 2A, 2B, and 2C. And again, the boats will come out and race again. It's a blind draw. We'll see who runs against who, but the whole idea through all of our preliminary heats, points, points, points. Debbie Gregory used to say it better. She used to just walk through the pit area when she and her husband were involved, and they would just talk about points, because you don't win these races without a lot of points, and that's how you get in the final and become the champion. So I think we've got Peyton Hopp with us. Peyton, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you, Brad, loud and clear.
Well, I'll tell you what, young man, that was a tremendous race. You weren't leading that one at the on lap 1 up the backstretch, but things got really tight up there at the top end. You came out of it suddenly side by side with Tim Johnson, and you went deck to deck for 3 laps. You had some fun, I bet.
Oh yeah, my heart was racing for the first 2 laps. Tim was keeping me real close. He was doing a fantastic job out in lane 2, but it's all about positioning and hitting that middle. I mean, I was a little late on the start, but just doing the shortest way around the course, it ends up being an advantage to you. And the Spirit of Detroit U10 did real well today in the first heat.
Boy, and you guys were, as you said, driving in some tight lanes. You guys got really close together there a couple of times. Good thing your boats are pretty much the same color. If you swap paint, you may not know it.
Yeah. We were trying paint there for a little bit. It felt like I was just keeping on my marks, hitting the corners, trying not to slide out into them, and I was just able to pull away from him at the end there, and it's a great way to start out our day here. Great run for Dave Bardish.
Absolutely. First place finish, 400 points. It's all about points to get in the final. We didn't see you 2 weeks ago, but I think you served notice that you may have missed the first race down in Guntersville, but you didn't have to kick off any rust. Peyton Hopp's going to be a player here in the 2020 APBA Gold Cup. Congratulations, young man.
Yep, thanks.
So there we see our points after the first heat of racing here. We've got only one boat that didn't score any points down there, and that was the Bucket List Miss Rock, Eddie Canfouche. You will remember he blew over in turn 1 of our Heat 1A. But then you see 1B and 1C, 400 points for a first place finish. You get 300 for second place. Third is 225, and a fourth place finish will earn you 169 points. So we put all the ping pong balls in a hat, Scott Rainey. We start pulling them out again and see who's going to compete in Heat 2.
Yeah, here we go. Let's get the next set going here. This is going to be good. And don't count that Eddie Canfouche young man out. He is fast, and he'll make it up.
So let's go to our draw.
Hey guys, welcome to the Heat Draw for the 2020 E-League. I'm Corey, driver of the U98 Graham Trucking boat. I'm here with Race, my son, and Layton, my daughter. We have Riley upstairs, but she won't be joining us. These heat draws are brought to you by Graham Trucking Racing and Graham Trucking, the official transportation company for H1. So what we're going to do is we have some little baby shot glasses, little red Solo Cup baby shot glasses actually. We've got the numbers written on all of those. The kids are going to pull them out, and we're going to get you guys some heats. So let me get these separated real quick. Here we go. First vote in Heat 2A is going to be 11. The 12, Go Graham Trucking. The 9.
6.
The 6. So in Heat 2A we have the 11, the 12, the 9, and the 6. Heat 2B. The 3. The 440. Homeschooling. COVID-19.
The 440. The 7.
The 7. And last in Heat 2B.
98.
The 98 Go Graham Trucking. So in Heat 2B, we have the 3, the 440, the 7, and the 98. 2C. The 21. What do you got?
99.9.
The 99.9.
The 10.
The 10. And last,
91.
the 91. All right, guys, so we have our lineup for the 3 heats. Let's go over that again. We got 2A, we got the 11, the 12, the 9, the 6. In Heat 2B, we have the 3, the 440, the 7, and the 98. In Heat 2C, we have the 21, the 99.9, the 10, and the 91. All right, guys, I wish you all luck.
Okay, back here on the banks of the Ohio River, want to thank Corey Peabody and his family for the draw there of our second set of racing for heats 2A, 2B, and 2C. And we could sit here and analyze this thing, Scott Rainey, for quite a while, but the fact of the matter is, as you talked about, and as we're looking at there on the screen, are the qualifying speeds are so close for all these boats. There is no such thing as an easy draw. Similarly, every heat looks really good on paper.
You know, we always used to say in racing, there's never an easy draw. The only way you get an easy draw is if you're fastest. So you just got to go race and see what happens.
Let's go see what happens. So our before we get to our Heat 2A, I want to take this opportunity to once again thank our sponsors. Thank the fine folks at Jesse's Stitches, Custom Embroidery, and more in Snohomish, Washington since 1990. Also, the good folks there in Kennewick, Atomic Screen Printing. They have been a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen printed and embroidered products since 1998. And certainly the folks at Staples. Staples has stepped up in a big way to help us out with everything going on in society today and offices being closed and people working from their homes. Staples, they are the one-stop shop for all your home office needs. You can't go to the supply cabinet at the office anymore, so your supply cabinet becomes Staples. Go see them. They will help you outfit your home office. Let's get ready for our Heat 2A, Scott Rainey. We've got the Miss Home Streak. Kelsey Best is going to be involved. That's the blue and white boat. Won his first heat. one in 1A. We'll try and do the same in 2A. We've got the white boat, Scott Przybylski, the game's originator. He's going to be driving the U9 Delta Real Track. A boat you're partial to, the U11, the J&D's, Travis Johnson. He'll be looking for a good showing here. And Quentin Miller, he is our champion out of Guntersville, driving the black, silver, and red U12, the Graham Trucking. Best, Przybylski, Johnson, Miller. It's Heat 2A.
It'll
We
be
are
a good
10
one to
seconds
watch
away
here.
from a count to our 5-minute mark for Heat 2A. We are 3 seconds, 2, 1, mark. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Scott Rainey, I've watched you do this many, many times as we get to this point in the race, the 5-minute mark, and the boats pull away from the pit area. And I look at you, and you've got your headset on, and you are in the ear of your driver, Jamie Nielsen. What are you telling him during that first minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes of a 5-minute period?
Well, to start out with, we set up and prepare up in the truck ahead of time, and we have multiple different scenarios that we like to go through. For example, if you leave the dock at exactly the 5-minute gun, we can project that we're going to be at a certain point on the race course and at a certain speed, and then we can align ourselves with the timing marks that way. We also have scenarios if a different boat is in a different position, and let's say we want to be behind that boat or out in front of them. So we plan ahead a little bit, and then I have a roadmap with me up in the spotter area, and just let the driver know what else is going on around him. He can obviously see out in front of him, but he can't see what's going on in the other straightaway or the other corner. And we just paint the picture of what's going on out there for them and remind them of their time, their timings.
That was really interesting what you just said, because while you were talking, Quentin Miller and the Graham Trucking, the U12, is coming down the front straightaway. And as you said, he can't see the other boats. And we had the cockpit view there, and we couldn't see any other boats. And so there's where the radio man talking in his ear. I also like the other point that you made there. We always talk when we're seeing the boats on the race course, oh, they're doing timing marks from the entrance pin to turn 2 to the start finish line. But I thought it was interesting to hear you say you're actually timing him from the moment he leaves the dock. So you know exactly when he gets out on the race course, whether he comes out at the 5-minute mark or 4:45 or 4:30. So interesting stuff there. So we are inside 4 minutes, coming up on 3 minutes to our start. And looks like we're going to have some trollers down there. Looks like the 12 is going to be down there with the Graham Trucking and Quentin Miller and Kelsey Best. Fresh off a win in Heat 1A, like to do it again. And now look at this maneuver down there by Scott Przybylski driving a 9. He is just doing little S-curves down there, trying to scruff off time and take up some time. 2:20 until the start. Looks like Scott's down there first. There's the entrance pin to that lower corner coming up on the left side of the screen behind him. In his rear view mirror, he's got a lot of red and a lot of blue. He's got Quentin Miller and Kelsey Best behind him. Again, you cannot cross the exit buoy of turn number 1 prior to the 1-minute mark. And after you go up that backstretch, or when you go up the backstretch after the 1-minute mark, you can change lanes. You can leapfrog, as we call it, in front of another boat, but you must have 10 boat lengths, which equates to the length of the rooster tail, before you can move in on somebody. And so if somebody's going to try and get around you, you want to protect your lane. So we are on board here with Travis Johnson, going very slowly down the front straightaway. He's going to get down there to that lower corner and find a whole lot of traffic down there. We are inside 20 seconds now to the 1-minute mark. There is Travis, brightly colored J and D. And here's what he's going to find when he gets down there. He's going to try to find Scott on the inside. Going to find Quentin Miller in 2, Kelsey in 3. And look at Travis. We're 3 seconds, 2, 1, mark. 1 minute. It is a clean score up. So everybody got through that clean. Now, can they defend their lane up the backstretch. Scott Przybylski driving the 9. He's the white boat on the inside. Next to him and out front, that is Quentin Miller driving the U12, the Graham Trucking. Lane 3 is going to be Kelsey Best. And then on the outside, it is Travis Johnson. Scott Rainey, if Kelsey Best is going to win a second heat, he's going to have to do this from lane 3. It might be a tall order.
Yeah, these guys are up there really early right now, so who knows what's going to happen. I'd like to see, see what's going to happen here. Hopefully the J&D's boat on the outside can make a bonsai start, but I don't know. We'll see.
I was going to say, Travis is going to be on the outside behind everybody. Now look at Kelsey hang back here. He brought a lot of speed that first time in the first heat. Is he going to be able to do it? He's trailing. We're 2 seconds, 1 mark. And the boats are running here, and it is a clean start. It is a clean start. Przybylski on the inside is dead even getting down there. He's out front. Kelsey Best with boat speed on the outside. Looks like he's going to get down to the corner first, but he is out in lane number 3. It is Przybylski's course right now on the inside, driving the 9 at Delta Rail Track. But man, he's got right side rear view mirrors full of a lot of traffic. Look at Kelsey Best fly the home street down the backstretch, trying to run down the 9, driven by Scott Przybylski. And then in between boats, it is Quentin Miller driving the 12. Great racing here at the top end of the course. Oh, and Quentin almost got into Kelsey's rooster tail. He's got room in there, and he's out clean. But right now, Scott Przybylski showing him the short way around, Scott.
Yeah, he held that inside line in that first corner. It's pretty tough to do, and it stretched him out, and the race is his right now.
Sure is. Got to keep an eye on Quentin Miller. He is, as we like to say sometimes, he is driving down a hallway between a couple of rooster tails, but so far he has stayed clean. And Kelsey driving the home street in second place. That's the blue and white boat on the outside. He's done a good job of leaving room for Quentin Miller. Now, we define a width of lane space as about 30 feet. Well, he's given him 30 feet and a couple of inches. He's not giving him a lot of room, but he's given him enough. And there you get a great view of the boats coming off the top end of the race course here, and just how tight it is getting in there for Quentin Miller driving the U12 Graham Trucking, currently running in third place. But look at the 9 Delta Reel Track. He's really got that thing up and running. As he starts lap number 3 here, all he's got to do is run clean, Scott, and I think he can do this.
Well, it appears so. But that's a heck of a race for second and third place back behind there, and there we had a bad one.
Yep, it was getting tight. It was getting tight. We'll have to listen to the officials and see if he got squeezed at all. So we'll listen to them, and they'll come to us. And they are putting and assessing a 1-lap penalty on the U6, the Miss Home Street. They are ruling that he encroached on Quentin Miller driving the 12 to Graham Trucking. So our leader, Scott Przybylski, will come down to complete lap number 3. Second place will come across as Kelsey Best in the home street, but he has incurred a 1-lap penalty. Travis Johnson's going to come home in second place with the J&D, so a good finish for Travis. He was running in fourth, and then all of a sudden finds himself in second place, and our third place finish will go to Quentin Miller in the U12, the Graham Trucking. This is why we run the heat, Scott Rainey. You can think you've got it figured out, you know how it's going to end because of how it's going, but as we always say in boat racing as fans, and you know it better than anybody, anything can happen on the race course. You just never know until it's done.
We sit here and try to predict what's going to happen, and you just don't know. I mean, you didn't know that Quentin was going to have a little bit of a problem and hit a roller and slide out like that. That's why we go race, and that's the whole fun of it.
It really is the whole fun of it. It is of interest that it happens right where it did on the race course, right there just past the exit pin of turn 1, because as you know all too well, on the Ohio River in Madison, down at that part of the race course, there is a real hole down there, and it has claimed many a boat racer going through turn 1. And it just claimed Quentin Miller and Kelsey Best.
Yeah, numerous times. Those guys will get down in the corner, and the big rollers go ahead and grab the sides of the sponsons, the air traps of the sponsons, and that causes a boat to spin out. Not any different than in virtual racing.
And that's because our winner, Mr. Przbilski, has done such a good job of developing this race. I'm hopeful we'll be able to get him up here for a couple of comments, but he's got to be a pretty happy guy. He's 2 for 2 this weekend. The U9 Delta Real Track looks like a player for sure. Scott, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, I'm getting to know your voice now. We're talking so darn often here. Congratulations. That was a good one.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. This is going really well for me.
If you could save one of those starts and one of those lane positions for the final, because you're looking really good, and I know you've got to be really happy with the way things are going so far.
Yeah, this day's going pretty good. Hopefully, I'm not giving away too much for the final, but we'll see.
We're going to find out, that's for sure. I've got Scott Rainey also on the hook here, and Scott Rainey, if you want to jump in and throw something at our winner here. But
Absolutely. Hey, it looks like you guys are having a lot of fun out there. Could you speak for a moment to all the people who are viewing what it would take for them to come play this game, play this virtual hydroplane racing? This is incredible.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a desktop PC is usually the best bet. It needs a pretty decent graphics card to run, but if you go to my website www.uhlhydroplanes.com, the game is available for download there, and you can try it out. I've been trying to make some improvements to performance so that more people can play, but and then you can join us. There's a Discord channel. There's a link on the website, and you can join that. And then it's a pretty friendly bunch of people, so feel free to start talking, and we'll help you out if you want to get started.
Well, I know this is a great avenue, in this time of the pandemic and everyone kind of just trying to stay close to home, and this has been a great outlet for a lot of different people. And I'm seeing Jeff Bernard play in, and maybe this is a chance for the fans out there to come race with some of these people who are the drivers of the Miss Home Street or the Goodman Real Estate boat. Pretty soon you're going to see the J&D's driver Jamie Nielsen out here. This is a great avenue, and come get involved and have some fun.
Yep. Yeah, and Jeff Bernard's been hanging out with us quite a bit recently, so yeah, it's been fun talking to him.
Well, it's been kind of fun talking to you, Scott. Congratulations. It's a couple of good heat wins here, a good start to the weekend, but as you know, there's still a long way to go. But congratulations, and hopefully we'll talk to you after heat 3. We'll see.
Yep, thanks. Hopefully we'll be back soon.
Scott Przbilski, and I want to go back to what he just said there. It was a great question there, Scott Rainey, on how people can get involved. I know my 2 sons, they have gotten involved, or 2 of my 3 sons have. The web address he gave there was www.uhlhydroplanes.com. So go on there, and as he said, click on some links in there, and you can start a conversation with some folks and get behind the wheel virtually and drive one of these things. Sounds like fun. We're coming up on 15 seconds to the start. Thank our sponsors very quickly here. Jesse's Stitches once again, Atomic Screen Printing, and Staples. Staples, one-stop shop for all your home office needs. It's Heat 2B, and we're ready to go. We're 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1, and mark. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to Heat 2B. Our 4 boats that are going to come out in this one. We're going to have piston power in this one. The U3 Go 3 Racing presents Griggs Ace Hardware. The driver, Cy Bowen. The boat is bright red. Cy Bowen driving the U3 Griggs Ace Hardware. Another bright red boat, the U7 Spirit of Detroit with DJ Miller, who will be on the race course. That's the boat you're looking at right there, coming down the front straightaway. You see the blue and white stripes on either side of the cowling. It's the U7 Spirit of Detroit, boat owned by Dave Bardish. Our 3rd boat, U98, the Graham Trucking American Dream. Matt Johnson, there he is, right there. Can't miss the red and white stripes down the decking of that boat, a throwback to the 1998 paint scheme, the first one of Graham Trucking on one of Fred Leland's hulls. And then the bright orange, there it is, the bright orange, 440 Bucket List Racing 2. You mentioned the watch parties that are going on. We got the two boats on the water that you were talking about, Scott Rainey, the 98 Graham Trucking and the 440 Bucket List Racing. You can hear them hooting and hollering. They are rooting for their boat, and that would be Bo Rarig and Matt Johnson right now.
Yeah, this will be another fun one to watch. Every one of these is a fun one to watch, and I sit here and try to project, oh, who's going to win this one? And it's just a toss-up. You don't know.
You don't know. That's what makes it so doggone fun. So we've got our four boats on the water, our four drivers, Cy Bowen, DJ Miller, Matt Johnson, and Bo Rarig. There's Cy Bowen driving the piston boat. Can't miss that one on the water just because of the different profile of the piston engine versus the tall air scoop on the turbine-powered boat. There's a perfect example of the tall air scoop jamming air into that turbine. We're 3 minutes until the start. It's Heat 2B. It's the 2020 APBA Gold Cup on the Ohio River in Madison, Indiana. DJ Miller on the front straightaway. There's a good look at Matt Johnson driving the beautiful red, white, and blue and Trucking American Dream. We saw Corey Peabody doing the picking for our second section of heats here. He, the real driver of the real 98 Graham Trucking American Dream inside 230. There's Bo Rarig. Bo would like to have a good run here. He's had a couple of finishes where he got points, but I don't think he was as high as he wants to be on that ladder. I look for a good run out of Bo Rarig here for the ownership group and the watch party that is going on up in Snohomish. So let's hope that he gets a good run here. Everybody's trying to accumulate points and make it into the final. Got a 12-boat field, Scott Rainey, and we're going to trim this down to 5 on the front row of the final. And if you're not in the front row of the final, you're not going to win the APBA Gold Cup. So you really got to get points here.
Yeah, it's not so often that a boat will win from the trailer position. I think it's only happened once in the history of unlimited hydroplane racing.
Yeah, and with what we see out here with the competitive nature of these boats, I don't think we're going to see that today. That'll be a tall bet, and I think it's one I'll stay away from. So look at this. Look at this. As Matt Johnson has put his boat on the inside lane, he cut the course from the back to the front and jumped in front of the 7 and DJ Miller, whom you're on board with right now. So we are approaching our 1 minute mark. Can't cross that exit buoy, that one right there, the big yellow one. Can't go past that before 1 minute. We're inside 10 seconds. And in fact, we are 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1 mark. And it was a clean score up. A clean score up. However, I'm not sure that message got to Matt Johnson. It looked like he was going to try and cut the course and go back and pick up that buoy. We'll have to watch and see, but the score was clean. So everything is good. Now our leader at the top end of the race course is Cy Bowen in the U3. If he wants lane 1, it is his to take, and he's going to do it. Lane 2 is going to go to DJ Miller, the Spirit of Detroit. That is the turbine-powered boat with the big air scoop. They're both red, but you can see the different profile above the hull line there with the piston motor and the turbine-powered motor. So you got piston on the right in lane 1. On the left, as they came around the corner, there is DJ Miller driving the 7. Getting ready to come down to our start. We've got 2 boats there, but we'll watch for some speed to come up on the outside. We are 6 seconds away from the start. Going to be 2 boats coming to the line. We're 2 seconds, 1 mark, and we are racing, and there are our other 2 boats on the outside. Matt Johnson in the red, white, and blue. I expected a better run out of Bo Rarig, and he is right in the thick of it this time. He is in lane number 3 as they get down on the lower end of the race course. Cy Bowen on the inside. We got to leave room, and we got a boat over. We have got a boat over. That is DJ Miller and the Spirit of Detroit. The Spirit of Detroit, and we have a 1-lap penalty. We'll check who it is on. I believe it was on Matt Johnson, but I'm not sure. We'll check with the officials. Up the backstretch, it is all Cy Bowen right now as he comes off the top end of the race course. Got a good lead right now. He's going to come down and put 1 in the books, but unfortunately, we lost DJ Miller down in the lower corner, and part of that was Bo Rarig as they got tangled down there in DJ Miller is out because he went over. We will check on Bo Rarig and see where he is running. But meanwhile, on lap number 2 of 3, it is all Cy Bowen driving piston power. You can hear people in the Tri-Cities cheering. They're happy. They love it anytime piston power gets out front. Scott Rady, that boat always a fan favorite.
Oh, those guys are so well prepared. They work tirelessly on their boat, on their engines, and to boot, they're heck of good people.
There's Bo Rarig driving the 440 bucket list, racing up the backstretch. We are on lap number 2 of 3. We have my screen froze. We're listening to the radio here. I believe we are going to have to restart our Heat 2B. Oh my goodness. My screen froze. I wasn't sure if others did as well. Apparently so. We had this problem once in Guntersville, but it has apparently happened here. So I think we're going to have to bring the boats back and re-rack our Heat 2B.
Yeah, sometimes technology just doesn't work perfectly, and a glitch here or there. But the cool thing is, everyone's okay, and we get to keep racing.
We do get to keep racing. We do get to keep racing. One point I would like to make while we have this little break in the action here, we re-rack our Heat 2B. We've received some comments and some questions that have shown up, and maybe this gives us an opportunity, Scott Rainey, to tell our fans out there, if you're listening and you're on social media, you're on YouTube, give us a shout out. Tell us from where you are watching the racing today. Whether you're across the country, around the world, where are you catching up on the 2020 H1 E-League APBA Gold Cup?
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see where people are watching from. I know that there's watch parties going out around in some of the boat race teams shops. We know that, but where else are fans from? And that's going to be fun for everyone to see.
It is, because H1 Unlimited Racing casts a pretty wide net. They cover a lot of geography, and there's a lot of geography where the boats don't go, but there are still a lot of fans there. We're talking about watch parties being held at the facilities of some of the race teams. I am aware of some watch parties going on in people's private homes. I know of one particular party going on in Oklahoma City. There's a whole family of folks there that are sitting down watching the racing for the second race in a row. So we welcome them. And one of the points I wanted to make, people might be wondering, and we saw a question online, why are we only running 4 boats on the front row? Why are we only running 4 boats where in Guntersville, Alabama, we were able to run 6? It's because of the width of the Ohio River and the fact that it is a much narrower race course. And to your point, Scott Rainey, you were talking about how this is a difficult course because it's so tight. Part of it is it's a very narrow body of water, and we're running on a short 2-mile track here. So it's tough on the team, but it's because of the width of the course. We only get to run 4 at a time.
It's narrow. It's a narrow race course, and it's also very rough. And you got to take into consideration the current of the river here. So, Brad, I'll step aside, and you talk about what just transpired on the officials' radio.
I am monitoring the official radio. If the officials can trap me one more time in my ear, I will pass that along. I actually missed it.
Well, they're saying
2B
that
is official. All right. So, okay. So in racing, if you complete over half of the laps, if the leader completes over half of the laps of a preliminary heat, then the heat does not have to be run should there be an accident or a stoppage for whatever reason. And the officials have looked at the tape and ruled that Cy Bowen in the Griggs Ace Hardware driving the U3, the piston boat, he had completed 2 of the 3 laps. Thus, Heat 2B is official. It's in the books. We do not have to rerun it. And so we've got our final finish order, hopefully coming up on the screen here. But we do know that our first place finisher was Cy Bowen in the U3.
So the bucket list with Bo Rohrig was a second place finisher. Matt Johnson is the third place finisher, and of course,
Would be
DJ
DJ
gets
Miller.
fourth place points because of someone taking his lane away. So.
And very good. Thank you, Scott Rainey. My screen pixelated there for a moment. I couldn't see the final finish, but we've got it there. Cy Bowen is your first place finisher, 400 points. Put it down. The officials have confirmed it. Second place, we talked about it. We expected Bo Rohrig to possibly have a better run in Heat 2B than he did in the first set. He did. Second place, 300 points. They will be happy with that. Matt Johnson picks up 225 points in third place with the U98. Graham Trucking American Dream. And then DJ Miller, he had the difficulty there down in the corner, but he will get fourth place points in the Spirit of Detroit, the U7, 169 points. So 2Bs in the books. We are ready now for our Heat 2C. Looking at the lineup for our Heat 2C. 4 boats again. We'll have the Spirit of Detroit 2, the U10, Peyton Hopp. He was victorious the last time he got out on the water. He will be in our Heat 2C. He's going to be joined by Mickey Washburn, the U21, the white boat with the black trim. Daryl Strong presents Payne West Insurance. The black and gold of the U91, Goodman Real Estate, Tim Johnson. And then a guy you keep saying to look out for, and we keep talking about him, Eddie Canfoose, driving Bucket List presents Miss Rock. Look for the 99.9 to make some waves here in Heat 2C.
Yeah, you know, we got to get a couple of young guys there, Peyton Hopp and Eddie Canfouche in this heat. Going to go head to head here. This should be pretty good.
Should be good. This is our last heat, the sea and mark. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Boats can come away from the dock now. And if you have ever been to Madison, Indiana to watch real racing on the Ohio River, you'll know just how realistic this racing is with those two big trees. If you're standing in a particular spot, you will lose sight of the boats momentarily as they come away from the pit area. So great job, Scott Przbilski. We spoke to him earlier about just how realistic this racing is, and he is constantly working on a continuous improvement. There's the guy we're talking about there on the outside in the bright orange 99.9 Bucket List presents Miss Rock. He was our fastest qualifier down in Alabama. Didn't get the race win. There was a lot of people that were picking him to win, but he's fast, he's tough anytime you get him on the water. So he is out there driving the 99.9. Joining him out here is going to be Peyton Hopp. He's driving the 10. There he is, the Spirit of Detroit 2. The black boat trimmed in gold. Peyton, a winner the last time out. The U21, driven by Mickey Washburn, in predominantly white boat trimmed in black, got some checkers on it. Go Fast, Turn Left Racing with Daryl Strong presents the Payne West Insurance. Rounding out our 4-boat field, again, black and gold, the Goodman Real Estate, new sponsor for 2020. We are very glad to have them on board. The U91 Goodman Real Estate, Tim Johnson behind the wheel. So, it's Heat 2C. Our 4 boats are on the water. That is Eddie Canfoose driving the Bucket List presents Miss Rock up the backstretch. And just off to his left there is the 91 Goodman Real Estate, Tim Johnson. Nobody parked and doing the slow run just yet, but I'm sure we'll see some pulling. Look at Eddie Canfoose start to back it down right there. And part of that is the starting procedure, Scott, because these guys, when they come out on the race course, they can't go right down to that lower corner and just park. They have to turn one lap at speed prior to getting into that part of the start procedure.
Yeah, and you'll notice that they do the one lap, and then quite a few of them are getting down into this first corner and trying to establish their position. And then at the 1 minute mark, they need to be at that exit pin. And you'll notice in that last heat, Cy Bowen actually did a really good job leapfrogging everybody. I don't know what the other guys were doing. They appeared to be sleeping a little bit or whatever. And he took lane 1 away, starting from lane 3 and just got out in front of everybody. So you don't know what's going to happen. There's two separate races here to gather that inside lane.
And as announcers, we usually refer to this as the race before the race. As we watch Mickey Washburn, who so far has decided he doesn't want any part of the trolling procedure, so he cut the race course behind everybody and is right now at the top end of the race course, driving the 21. Daryl Strong presents Payne West Insurance. You riding along board, on board here with Mickey Washburn. And you see the pit area there on the right. He will come down the straightaway. We'll see just how he wants to play this. We're inside 2 minutes to the start. We've got a $1:30 until our start, and it looks like he's going to back down now. Given the timing on the clock, he hasn't got time to go around again. Now, let's look at the traffic jam we've got down here at the bottom. I think we still have Peyton Hopp sitting in lane number 1, and Eddie Canfouche, I believe, is in 2 in the bucket list. The Miss Rock, we'll see if that holds through the corner. The third boat down there is the 91 with Tim Johnson in the good real estate. We're inside 10 seconds to the 1 minute mark. We are 4, 3, 2, 1 mark. The boats have cleared the 1 minute point with a clean score up. Now it's that run down the backstretch to see if anybody can leapfrog over. I don't see anybody with a 10 boat length lead. Not from where I'm sitting, Scott Rainey. That one looks clean. I think we're going to hold those lanes.
Yeah, everybody was on their game there, and there's nobody going to allow anybody to get inside here. So they'll get up here to this entrance pin, and then they got to slow it way down to hit the start right.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. With Peyton Hopp sitting in lane number 1, he drove from lane 1 in the first heat, showed he was able to hold that lane the whole way around. And you know Eddie Canfouche is going to do his best to hold him in tight. This one could be fun. Bucket List Racing presents Miss Rock is in lane 2. It's Goodman Real Estate Johnson in 3. It's going to be Mickey Washburn on the outside. We're inside 10 seconds. We are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. And if they are on time, Tim Johnson has jumped the gun. Tim Johnson in the 91, the Goodman Real Estate. He's now falling back. He has been told he jumped the gun, and look at Eddie Canfouche. Going to get down to the corner first, going to hold Hop in tight, and Hop almost got up onto the rooster tail, but he was able to save it. And as we expected, Scott Rainey, Eddie Canfouche gave him a lane and no more. It was tight down there.
Oh boy, he held him right tight around that first corner. That was impressive.
It was impressive, and this is impressive up the backstretch because we said Peyton Hopp had showed an ability to hold lane 1, and look at him now drive and past Eddie Canfouche at the top end of the race course. They're going to come down and put 1 and 3 in the books. These guys are tied together. They are dead even. Peyton Hopp showing some tremendous speed, driving the 10, the Spirit of Detroit 2. We're in the second of 3 times around, and I'm telling you, you can't paint them any closer together. Now watch the corner again. Peyton's got a little bit more leeway here. It's not quite as tight because he's got a couple of boat lengths on Mr. Canfouche coming off the corner. Oh, the importance of that inside lane. But Peyton has proven he can hold it, Scott. He's doing an amazing job.
Well, once again, that inside lane position, and he's just showing them the way around the course. I'm really impressed that he's holding that corner nice and tight, and he actually moved Eddie Canfouche's boat out in a way. Now you look, he's away from the buoys now. He's making the Eddie run a much bigger course. Now he pulls it back in tight.
And as we were talking earlier, yes, the shortest way around the race course to be on the inside of the race course, but you got to hold that lane. And he proved on that first lap and a half he was able to hold it when Eddie Canfouche was pinning him in really tight. We are off the lower corner and down the backstretch here on the third and final time. Peyton Hopp's got to hold on for about a half a lap, and he'll pick up a second first place finish. But you know Eddie Canfouche is not going to let him go. He'd like to show everybody that he is here to run and he is here to win. He's a tremendous driver, and he'll never give up. But we are off the top end of the course, and it is going to be the 10 Spirit of Detroit 2. Peyton Hopp is going to come down and pick up a first place finish. Second place is going to go to Eddie Canfouche, driving the U99.9. Bucket List presents Miss Rock. What a tremendous run. Our third place finisher is going to be Mickey Washburn, driving the Daryl Strong presents Payne West Insurance, the 21. And unfortunately, the 91, Goodman Real Estate, driven by Tim Johnson, jumped the gun and received a penalty. He will run an extra lap and come home in fourth place. Once again, our H1 Unlimited E-League racing circuit and the preliminary heat, Scott Rainey, that did not disappoint at all. That is awesome.
Wow, that's all I gotta say. Wow, they were going at it.
And you know, doing a lot of driver interviews on the dock, what the drivers, the real drivers, like to talk about when they come back is they don't want to go out there and just blow somebody away and have a parade. They want to go deck to deck with somebody, and they talk about the quote unquote competitive experience. It's no different for these guys. These guys are loving that competitive experience and going out. As you talked earlier, Scott, these guys are competitors. They want to win. If you play a game of cards with these guys, trust me, they're going to want to win, and that's why they do this. They want to race and have fun. So great stuff, and they are putting on a tremendous show. While our officials tally up the points for our second section, and this completes it. Heat 2C is in the book, so we've run 6 heats of racing here. They'll tally up the points. Want to talk a little bit about H1 Unlimited again, because they are a very proud organization of the American Powerboat Association, who is the national authority for boat racing in the U.S. The APBA is a member-driven organization established in 1903, and they are headquartered in East Point, Michigan. For more information about the American Powerboat Association, or to become a member yourself of the APBA, visit www.apba.org, the American Powerboat Association. And there
Hello?
you see the points as we laid them out. Peyton Hopp sitting there. He was the 7th fastest qualifier, picking up 30 points in qualifying. But look at those next 2 columns across from him: 400, 400. 2 first place finishes. I think they're going to have to deal with him, Scott Rainey.
Hello?
Absolutely, Brad, and Peyton's here with us now. That was quite a run there, Peyton.
Yeah, it was a little bit stressful there, especially with having Tim in that heat. We had a great battle in 1C. I knew Eddie was going to be gunning for a heat win after he had an incident in his first flight, so the pressure was definitely on. But I mean, I just stuck to my guns, hit the score up pin, and didn't allow anyone to get overlap, and it ended up paying off in the end.
Well,
And
that was great. Go ahead, Brad.
yeah, talk to me a little bit about going through the corners there in second place. Because man, Eddie was pinning you in tight, but you were able to hold it. We talk about, yeah, certainly it's the shortest way around, but if you're not the first guy to the corner, you got to hold that line in there. It got really tight a couple of times, but the U10 Spirit of Detroit 2, it held it.
Oh yeah, it's kind of funny with this 2 mile course too. I've been practicing on it all week, and you think lane 2 would be the advantage because you have the momentum, but as long as you can pin it to the buoys and have a relatively good start, you'll end up having a shorter way around the course. So I gotta give credit to Eddie. He's one of the best out there, and he gave me a great race. But the Spirit of Detroit 2 was just on it in that heat, and we got a lot of momentum, and I couldn't have had a better start to my race weekend.
Yeah, you already had a good start. Now you're continuing it. So keep going, young man. We'll look for you in the third section, but you've got 830 points the way my calculator works. So good run so far. Keep it going.
Yep, appreciate it.
Peyton Hopp, he's young. He didn't get the run in Gunnersville, but man, he's good, Scott Rainey. I like that kid.
Yeah, he didn't race at in the Gunnersville E-League race because he actually races a car up at the local speedway, Monroe Speedway, just north of Seattle here. And they had a practice day or something of that sorts. And of course, with everyone being, kind of shut down for the pandemic, they opened the racetrack, and I guess a lot of people came up there and wanted to, get their day of trials and testing in. But by watching him run today, you couldn't tell. He's on top of his game today here.
Certainly seems like it. So it's time we got to do our heat draws here for heats 3A, B, and C. Let's go to the heat draw. And I think we got a surprise for everybody here.
Hello, welcome. My name is Trey Holt, crew member of the U1 Home Street, Miss Madison. And this is my dad, Rob Holt, my assistant for today. And this is the 2020 H1 Unlimited E-League Madison Regatta Go Cup. These are the draws for the heats 3A, 3B, and 3C. And this is the prestigious Go Cup trophy because I decided to one-up Jim Shane with drawing the balls out of the top of the trophy. Let's begin. Heat 3A, U91. Heat 3B, U3. Heat 3C, U11. Heat 3A, U99.9. Heat 3B, U21. Heat 3C, U440. Heat 3A, U98. Heat 3B, U6, my favorite. Heat 3C, U10. Heat 3A, U9. Heat 3B, U7. And Heat 3C, U12. And that's the draws for Heat 3A, 3B, and 3C. Good luck to everyone today, and hope everyone has fun watching the races, and good luck.
Well, thanks to the city of Madison, Indiana, and Trey for the heat draw there. I said we'd have a little bit of a surprise there. I'm not sure I have ever seen the heat draw taken place drawing right out of the Gold Cup itself, but it seems only fitting given the race we are running today, which is the APBA Gold Cup. On the screen right now, on the right-hand side, we have our 12 boats and drivers listed there. We don't have the boats, but we have the drivers listed, and we have their rank 1 through 12 on the points they have accumulated so far today. And those points do include points for qualifying, because you do get points based on how your boat qualifies. 100 points for first place, 80 points for second, 70, 60, and on down. So we've talked to Mr. Przbilski a couple of times, and we see he is sitting right now atop that ladder at 860. Peyton Hopp, another guy having a really good weekend so far, sitting there with 830. And as we talked, Scott Rainey, we're only halfway through the preliminaries, but it's all about points. You can't win this thing unless you make it in the final. You make it in the final by being the top 5 in points.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see our top qualifier at the back of the pack in points. I mean, like the young man can drive, and he can drive a boat fast.
Mm-hmm. He certainly can. Look at Eddie Canfu sitting down there at number 11 with 380 points. Clearly, the third and fourth heat section for some of our drivers are going to be extremely important. Before we go racing here, let's talk one more time briefly about our sponsors, without whom we don't get to have this fun here on a Saturday afternoon. Atomic Screen Printing, they've been a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen printed and embroidered products since 1998. Jesse Stitches, they've been in business since 1990, providing custom embroidery and more. They are based in Snohomish, Washington. And we keep mentioning the good folks at Staples. Staples is your one-stop shop for all your home office needs. And when we talk about Staples specifically, I want to talk about the 3 locations. One just off 196th Street in Linwood. There's the Mill Creek location just off the Bothell Everett Highway. and just off the Newport Highway on the east side of the state in Spokane. It is Staples, the one-stop shop for all your home office needs. We thank them for their participation. I think I squeezed that in fast enough. I think we're ready to go racing here in our Heat 3A. We'll monitor the radio and get a countdown.
Yeah, and Brad, we're coming up to this heat here, and a shout out there to Trey Holt with the Gold Cup draw. That was a pretty neat deal for the hometown Miss Madison home street team. And I understand that there's a group of the race committee down at the river in the pit area watching the race. So a shout out to all those folks that work tirelessly to put the event on there. We do appreciate your hard work.
That's awesome, and we certainly do. Uh, Great job pointing that out. I can picture them being down there in the pit area, having a virtual. We're having a virtual race. Sounds like they're having a real party. That doesn't sound virtual to me. Sounds like they're having some fun. So good for them in Madison, Indiana. We are 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1, mark. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to the start of our Heat 3A. Let's take a look at the 4 boats that are coming out. This one might be a little interesting here. Scott Przybylski sitting, I believe, with 860 points. I know he's got 2 first-place finishes. Scott, a winner in his first heat and his second one, driving the 9, the predominantly white, trimmed in orange and yellow Delta Real track. He has been a hard charger so far today, and so far nobody's beat him on the water. He's going to be joined by the black and gold of the U91 Goodman Real Estate, Tim Johnson, behind the wheel of that virtual H1 Unlimited hydroplane. Can't miss the red, white, and blue of the U98, the Graham Trucking American Dream. Matt Johnson drives that boat. He's had a pretty good day so far. There is Matt Johnson going up the backstretch in that beautifully colored red, white, and blue Graham Trucking American Dream. And then rounding out our field here, the U99.9 Bucket List presents Miss Rock, Eddie Canfouche. We just talked about him. He's way down on points as far as making it into the final, but there's still 2 more runs for him to earn more points. He's got 2 more opportunities. I expect him to drive mighty hard this time out, Scott Brady.
Well, of course, the 98 boat and the 99.9 boat are both kind of in the bottom echelon of points, but there's still 2 more heats, and I mean, it's still a long ways to go. The leader in points, of course, is Scott Przybylski in the 9 boat, and he's he can coast if he wants to. He doesn't have to go out and win this heat. But those bottom 2 guys, they're going to be pushing really hard to try to win this one.
Well, and I wonder if some of this comes into play too, and maybe you can speak to this a little bit, but sometimes, to your point, there's a boat out there that maybe doesn't have to push too hard this heat, Scott Przybylski. However, if he does and he causes a poor heat for Eddie Canfouche, he can literally make it very difficult for Eddie to find his way into the final. Sometimes it's not about getting points for yourself, but it's about keeping other guys from getting their points.
You just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's in that driver's mindset right now. This is a scenario we would talk about in the truck beforehand, absolutely. And generally, we've been the boats with the least amount of points, so we're out there trying to, get as many as we can.
Well, interesting, as the boats went through the lower corner, we saw both Matt and Eddie go through the lower corner at speed, but we also saw they went past the other 2 boats, Tim Johnson, the Goodman Real Estate, and Scott Przybylski. They were down there trolling into that corner with 2 minutes to go, and Scott, at that point in time, was still sitting in lane number 1, but a lot can change. We see Eddie cut the course here. Let's see what he has up his sleeve. He's going to head down. I believe he is on the front straightaway now, and I think he's going to head down. Yep, he's coming down the front chute. He's going to come down the front chute there, and his spotter's telling him what's going on in front of him, and he's being told right now, a couple of guys putting fishing rods out the window here. They're just barely moving right now. Przybylski with 1:30 until the start, sitting in 1. Tim Johnson sitting in 2. Watch Eddie here.
He's going to go right to lane 1.
Yeah, the other 2 boats aren't moving. We'll get the look down there. There he goes. Nicely called. Nicely called, Scott. Yeah, the other boats weren't moving when he went by him. He says, "Thank you very much. I will take it." And we are 5 seconds to the 1 minute mark. 1 second and mark. We'll get the official word. It is a clean score up. Clean score up. Now keep an eye on Tim Johnson as he might have enough room to move over to one if he wants to, because we've lost the two inside boats. They're not on the screen right there, but I think everybody's going to hold their line. We'll see how it goes. Out front of everybody is Matt Johnson in the Graham Trucking American Dream. Here comes Przybylski. He is in lane one. Where is
It
Eddie?
appears Eddie got squished up there, didn't accelerate like the rest, so he's going to be coming from the outside now.
And you saw him in the background there. We thought maybe we would see him enter the screen in lane one. He did not. He has moved all the way to the outside. To Scott Rainey's point, they mashed the gas and ran down the backstretch. He might have been late getting on the throttle. Whatever it was, he wasn't there with them when they got to the top end. He's now way on the outside. He's going to wind up at 99.9 and try and bring a ton of speed. We're 2 seconds, 1 second mark. And we are racing here in Heat 3A. It is a clean start. Przybylski in one, but the speed is the outside. Eddie Canfouche in the 99.9, but he's got a long, big race course. He's going to get down to the corner first. Przybylski is on the inside. We got boats getting tangled up. Not so much tangled up, but Matt Johnson and Tim Johnson got close together. Tim in the U91, he got caught in the rooster tail, and he is way behind up the top end of the race course. Canfouche driving hard. Go ahead.
I wonder if the two brothers are going to have a little argument after that about holding the lane.
They just might. So here is our game originator, Scott Przybylski. He is on the inside, and he has got a right side rear view mirror full of Tennessee orange. And Eddie Canfouche trying to run him down. Doesn't want to let him go with one in the book and 2 to go. Down to the bottom end of the race course on lap number 2. Scott Przybylski, he won the first 2 heats. He had a little bit of a strange line through that corner. I think the boat may have hooked on him and crabbed a little bit on him, but he squared it up, brought it out. He's got about 3 boat lengths on Eddie Canfouche, and the rest of the field trails. But look at the speed from Scott Przybylski. He's got that 9 Delta real track. It is flying. He's flying the front end, Scott Rainey. That's what you got to do if you're going to win one of these.
Boy, it's all clicking right and correct for him today. And it appears that he's on his way to another heat win.
And he's still got about 4 boat lengths as they come down the straightaway there. The boat is just riding beautifully. He will go down and come down and put the second of 3 laps into the books and start the third and final lap. But boy, Canfouche, he knows he needs points. He's got to do everything he can to try and run him down. Matt Johnson is in 3rd place, driving the 98, the Graham Trucking American Dream. Przybylski knows he's got an opportunity to keep 300 points away from Eddie Canfouche, but Eddie knows he's got to have these 400 points. This lap 3 is going to be a good one. Look at him at the top end of the race course here. Canfouche has pulled up almost right alongside. This is really going to be close racing. Canfouche giving it everything he possibly has. Coming down the front straightaway, it is going to be Scott Przybylski. He held him off. Boy, I thought for a minute, Scott, I thought Eddie was going to be able to get him. He made a real charge on turn 2 there on lap 3.
Well, I don't know if he'd have been able to hold him off another lap. I mean, he kept picking away, and that was a good run by both of those drivers.
Certainly was. And that's wow. That was impressive. 3rd place goes to our Matt Johnson driving the Graham Trucking American Dream. 4th place will go to the 91 Goodman Real Estate and Tim Johnson. But more good racing, and I think we're going to hear from the game's originator one more time. Wow.
I'd be interested to be in a dinner time conversation in the Johnson household. I know their mom is watching from Renton, and that might be something I'd like to sit there and listen to.
It'd be a fly on the wall, and that one might be a pretty good discussion. We're watching Tim Johnson up the race course there. He will bring his boat back to the pit area. But again, our racing has just been spot on. It has been absolutely spectacular today. Every heat has had something different. Every heat has had good competition. We've had some repeat winners here, but it hasn't been like they've walked away and won these heats easily. Every heat has been contested. First place, Scott Przybylski driving the 9, Delta Real Track. Second place, Bucket List presents Miss Rock Eddie Cantu. She drove the daylights out of that boat. Third place, Matt Johnson, Graham Trucking American Dream. And our fourth place finisher, Tim Johnson driving the 91 of Goodman Real Estate.
You know, and what this goes to show is, you know, obviously Scott in the 9 boat has his act together today, and he's really competitive in these early heats. But you know, the final is just going to be crazy. You don't know who's going to win. There is any number of these guys who could win this race. All of them could win.
It's very true. And just to remind some fans here who may be new to what we're doing here as far as points and how you win this thing, you accrue your points to get on the front row of the final. The top 5 point getters will run in the final heat on the front row, but we determine the winner by who wins the final heat. It is a winner-take-all final. It's the old statement, throw the points out the window at that point because it doesn't matter. You got to get on that front row, put the points out the window. You could be number 5 in points. You go into that final heat with the same chance of winning as anybody. Winner take all. For, again, as I said earlier in the day, it's pretty prestigious. It is the oldest active motorsports trophy in the world. And Scott, I just love saying that. I love saying it when we're real racing. I love saying it here. That is so impressive to me. The oldest active motorsports trophy in the world. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we're joined now by the leading contender to win the really the first D-League Gold Cup trophy here, Scott Przybylski, and that's quite another run for you, Scott.
Oh yeah, I got my eyes set on that Gold Cup.
Bet you do. But it wasn't without a challenge, that's for sure. I'm going to assume you had a right side rear view mirror full of Tennessee orange. Eddie was not going away without a fight.
I did, yeah. He was catching up. Yeah, my radio man was telling me he was all over me, so I was trying to play it safe, though. Want to collect those 400 points.
Well, you got him, and the way we called it, he really closed at the top end and turn 2 there on lap number 3. I thought maybe he was going to get you, but you held him off, and that's what counts. You look to be sitting really strong for making it into the final, and I know that's the one you want to win.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think I can probably take it a little easy in the next heat, but yeah, I'm really looking forward for this final.
Congratulations. We will look for you in our 4th section, but everybody keep an eye on that bright white trimmed in orange and yellow Delta Real Track. Scott's got his game face on today. Congratulations, my friend. We'll see you later on.
All right, thank you.
There you go, Brad. There's a little bit of the strategy we were talking about.
Yep. So, just like that, we turn our attention away from 3A, our winner, Scott Przybylski, and we turn it to Heat 3B. Another 4 boats will come out on the race course, including our winner, one of our winners from the 2nd section of heats, Cy Bowen, driving the piston boat. The Go3 Racing presents Griggs Ace Hardware. 10 seconds to the 5-minute gun and the start of our Heat 3B. We are 3 seconds, 2, 1, mark. 5 minutes to the start of Heat 3B. Again, our racing today presented by Jesse's Stitches, custom embroidery and more in Snohomish. Atomic Screen Printing, a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen printed and embroidered products. They've been in business since 1998 in Kennewick, Washington. A tremendous family over there. Stop in if you have needs in that area. And then, of course, Staples, the one-stop shop for all your home office needs. 4 boats coming out here in our Heat 3B. We've got the U3 that I mentioned just a moment ago. Cy Bowen, bright red boat, piston powered. Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. Been a while since we've seen Kelsey Best on the water, but he is somebody that has to be reckoned with, and of course that is the hometown boat. It is owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana. It is Home Street blue and white. The Miss Home Street, it is the U6. U7, as blue as the Home Street might be, the U7 is red, bright red, with a couple of blue stripes down either side of the cowling. DJ Miller, he will sit behind the wheel of that hydroplane, Spirit of Detroit, representing the city of Detroit. And then our predominantly white boat, the U21, Go Fast, Turn Left Racing, and Darrell Strong present Payne West Insurance. There it is, Mickey Washburn behind the wheel. Mickey had that very, very strong second place finish in the final heat in Guntersville a couple of weeks ago. He needs a good run here in this preliminary, and he's got his hands full with Cy Bowen, Kelsey Best, DJ Miller, and Mickey Washburn. It's Heat 3B, and they're all good on paper, Scott Rainey.
Oh, absolutely, every one of them. You can't pick a winner out of this. Look at last weekend in the final heat. Mickey was right there. He could have won that race very easily. Look at Kelsey Best today. He wins his first heat. Look at Cy. He stole the inside lane, and won a heat. That any one of these guys could win. And let's not forget our top qualifier for the event. DJ Miller. I mean, any one of these can win.
And pretty much any one of them has won today, and that's been part of the real draw of this. It's just been terribly exciting as we get a good close-up there. Cy Bowen, 2:30 until the start. Cy Bowen driving boat owned by Ed Cooper out of Evansville, Indiana, the piston-powered boat that the fans love so very, very well. Good look at that boat. You see the different profile. There's Kelsey Best. He'll come off the corner, driving the Home Street blue Miss Home Street. And here we go. Now we'll see Kelsey's going to cut the race course there, and he is going to come around, and he's going to come right up on the right-hand side of our top qualifier, DJ Miller, and they're going to troll it from there. Right now, it looks like Miller sitting in one, Best in two, but as we've seen, a lot of that can change. Oh, down then here comes Mickey Washburn. He's going to come up behind everybody. So still a lot to be decided here, Scott Rainey.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting again. I mean, you just don't know. And those guys are parked up there early. And are we going to see somebody come from behind and go steal the inside lane? They're should start accelerating here any second.
Yeah, watch Cy Bowen here. He's going to come down with some boat speed. We got inside 20 seconds now. And he's got a couple of boats in front of him that aren't moving very fast. If he wants to try and leapfrog, well, this might be interesting. Keep an eye on Cy Bowen on the outside. We are 10 seconds. He's going to be the first one around the corner. Go, Cy, go. You might be able to pull this off. One mark. And it is a clean score up. It's a clean score up. Now they'll come down to backstretch, see if Cy Bowen can jump out in front of anybody. Remember, he's got to have a full rooster tail, 10 boat lengths before he can move over. He didn't get him. Kelsey Best said, you're not coming over on me. He didn't get over on anybody. Washburn is in 3. Miller is going to be in 2. Miller's going to be on the inside. Second lane will go to Kelsey Best in the Home Street. And we'll keep an eye on Cy Bowen. He should be on the outside. So now they got to scruff off some speed here at the top end of the race course. Kelsey Best had that gorgeous start in the first heat that he ran today, and it looks as though Cy Bowen has moved into lane number 3 in the piston boat. Now they're coming off the top end of the race course. It is DJ Miller in 1. Kelsey Best is in 2. It is Cy Bowen in 3. And it's going to be Mickey Washburn on the outside for 2 seconds. 1 second. Start. It's a clean start, and we are racing here in Heat 3B, presented by Staples. And down to the lower corner, Kelsey Best is going to get down here first, but he's not on the inside. Got a lot of speed off to his left. Another tight corner down here. We'll see if our top qualifier, DJ Miller, can show how that boat has speed on this race course. They're going to come off virtually dead even. Look at DJ Miller. He is flying down the backstretch, but Kelsey Best said, I got a lot of speed in this Home Street. It is Kelsey Best by about a boat length and a half. Scott Rainey, here we go again. A couple of guys tied together at the top end of lap number 1.
Yeah, we're seeing this every time. Isn't that great? Now, DJ just made an incredible corner right there, and now he jumped out a boat length lead.
He did, and he's going to have the lead as we come down and put lap number 1 in the books. That's lap number 1 of 3, so we got 2 more to go. DJ Miller showing that top qualifying speed was no fluke. He looks strong here on the inside through the first corner, and on lap number 1, he was able to hold his lane. He got the lead at the top end of the race course on lap number 1, and right now he has not looked back.
Yeah, he's driving like a man possessed right now.
He's looking really good. He is opening up water on Kelsey Best. Kelsey may have said, all right, the shouting may be over in this one. I'm going to let him go. But it is all DJ Miller as he's going to come off the top end of the race course. You see the Madison Milton Bridge in the background there of turn number 2 that connects the state of Indiana to the state of Kentucky. But that's not what people are looking at now. They are watching DJ Miller, Spirit of Detroit, the U7. First time we've really seen this today, Scott Rainey. He's kind of running away and hiding.
Yeah, well, he is really showing the people around the way around the race course. And I mean, yeah, he was in last place in points, but miracles can happen, and that's why you just keep working and keep working and keep working.
You don't give up. Lap number 3 of 3. It is our top qualifier, DJ Miller, Spirit of Detroit. And a good point you make about him being top qualifier. Remember, he earned 100 points for that. Could they possibly come into play, sneak him into that final? Couple that with the 400 he is set to get here. If he can pull this off, he might have a shot. DJ Miller, U7, Spirit of Detroit. He is your winner. Second place going to go to Kelsey Best, driving the Miss Home Street. Our third place finisher, I believe, is going to be Cy Bowen. There he is, Cy Bowen, driving the U3 piston powered. Go3 Racing presents Griggs Ace Hardware, and then it is Mickey Washburn driving the 21. The Darrell Strong presents Pay Less Insurance. A little bit of a different heat that time, Scott Rainey, and I think we saw Kelsey Best maybe that time just say, all right, I'll let you go this time. Shouting's over, and we'll back it off here a little bit.
Yeah, you saw those guys lock up pretty tight on the first lap there, and the home street boat, Kelsey Best driving it, is in pretty good position points wise, so he didn't want to do anything stupid. So I'm sure he just let's be a little bit more conservative and gather up our points and get to that final heat, and then we can show them what we got.
You can't win the big trophy until you make the front row of the final. So that is the end game right here until we get to the final. So our boats are returning back to the pit area here. We'll hope to get DJ Miller on board. All right, we are told that DJ Miller will hustle himself back up here and grab a microphone. We'll get an opportunity to talk with him and talk about that start procedure and just how close he and Kelsey Best got down there, not only at the start, but down there in turn 1. And he had a front windshield full of a lot of blue until he was able to get around him on the inside.
Well, I'm here now.
Oh, there he is. Hello, Mr. Miller. Well, hey, congratulations. That was a mighty good run.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of desperation mode. I wish my other 2 heats it could have gone that good, but it was nice to be able to reflect my qualifying speed a little bit with the heat result. I knew Kelsey was going to be really hard to beat because he's really good at hitting starts, but I just wanted to get lane 1 from him, and it worked out.
Well, it did work out, and you talk about being reflective of that fastest qualifying speed. And Scott Rainey and I were talking about that, the fact that you earned 100 points for that top qualifying speed. Could those 100 points, they might be really valuable come the end of the day.
Yeah, it might just be enough to get me in the final. I don't know. It will depend on a lot, and at this point, the best I can do is just go win my last heat and see what fate decides.
Boy, you got that exactly right. Way to go. That was a good run. Great start. Good drive.
And now both of the Dave Barter Spirit of Detroit boats have a heat win on the day. Peyton's been doing really well. And shout out to the series sponsor Staples and Atomic Screen Printing. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for jumping out of the boat virtually and running up here and grabbing the microphone. We appreciate you having on. Let's hope you make it into the final. Don't give up yet. There's still some shouting to do in the fourth section. Good luck, our friends.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. DJ Miller, our top qualifier. I'm just wondering, we're going to have to really start looking at those points after that fourth section. I'm just wondering if those top qualifier points might just, depending on how he does in Heat 4, could they possibly push him over the edge and get him on the front row?
Well, he just snuck up a whole bunch in points now. He passed 3 people who finished their heats already. So he went from last place, and I mean, he could be in, 7th, 8th, 6th, depending on what happens in this heat. Could be interesting.
It will be interesting, and as we've been saying all day long, this is why we put them on the water and go racing, because you never know what's going to happen. Somebody can blow over and get no points, and he can really. We talk about leapfrogging on the race course, where you can leapfrog on the points ladder as well. All right, it's Heat 3C. It is on deck. We're getting ready to go racing here. We'll have a countdown. We got our 4 boats in the water. They are ready to go. We're going to see Quentin Miller, who won in Guntersville. He's going to be in this heat. And Peyton Hopp, who has had a whale of a weekend so far, driving that U10 Spirit of Detroit 2. We are 5 seconds away from the 5-minute mark for Heat 3C. 1 mark. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to Heat 3C. Gives us an opportunity as the boats slowly pull away from the dock there to thank our friends at Atomic Screen Printing, Jesse Stitches, and Staples. Remember, Staples, the one-stop shop for all your home office needs. Working from home, can't get to the supply locker down at work? Go to Staples. They'll cover you down there. Thanks to our sponsors for all of their assistance here this weekend. Without them, this does not happen. But now we got the action on the water. We watch a couple of former Budweiser hulls out on the water right now. The T3 on the outside there. There it is, the U10, the Spirit of Detroit 2, Peyton Hopp. Had a really good day so far, driving that Spirit of Detroit number 2. We also saw the 12, there it is, the T6, for those of you that keep track of those sorts of things. Quentin Miller, he was a winner in Guntersville, driving a Graham Trucking, the U12. We should be seeing a whole lot of orange out on the race course. Well, there we're looking at the U11. The J&D's, Travis Johnson, he'd like to score a lot of points in this one. He needs to have a big heat here, as does Bo Rarig driving the 440 Bucket List Racing 2. A couple of brightly colored boats here out on the water. They will be easy to spot. We are inside 4 minutes to the start of Heat 3C. I keep asking you who you like in these heats, Scott Rainey, but it's impossible to pick. That's what's made this so fun today. This has been a good day of racing.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, I have a preference in this heat, but I won't tell
I know
you who
you
it is.
do. Yes, you do. And as we said at the onset here, it's okay to be partial. It's okay. Of course, Scott rooting for Travis Johnson in the U11 J&Ds, coming off the corner here. Brightly colored race boat. 2 minutes.
Hey, Brad, I was just gonna say something about when they show these in cockpit views or from the cowling looking down on the front wing. You notice these drivers, they're really actuating the front wing in real time as they're playing the game, and that's a factor in the attitude of the boat and how it frees it up off the water. And if they use that front wing too much, just like the real boat, you got a big problem.
You got a big problem. So Quentin Miller, we are being told, and we are on board with Quentin Miller right there, driving a U12 Graham Trucking. Tough break for him. He hit a buoy, Scott Rainey, during the milling period here. He has hit a buoy. The officials have assessed him a 1-lap penalty, so he's already a lap down. Tough break for Quentin Miller.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and we weren't able to see it. It happened, somewhere on the race course where we aren't viewing, and that's definitely not the way to start out a heat.
No, and this goes back to what we said before. Anything can happen. That's why we put him on the water. You think, all right, Quentin will probably get a pretty good finish here. Now he's probably going to come home in 4th place. So we're starting to get serious here about our score up for the beginning. with our Heat 3C. You're looking at Bo Rarick coming down, coming up on 30 seconds to the 1 minute pin. Bo Rarick there on the inside. Travis Johnson on the outside driving the 11, the J&Ds. They are coming off the top end of the race course, and they will head down to the bottom end. Again, we're inside 20 seconds until the 1 minute buoy. We're inside 15 now. So boats are going to have to start moving here. We're inside 10 seconds. Peyton Hop sitting in 1 minute. Peyton Hop. It was a clean score. Peyton Hop sitting in lane number 1. We're taking a look there at Travis Johnson way out in front in the 11. Is he going to try and move over? He may. The officials will watch it, make sure he's got room. I think he's got room to at least get 1 lane, and he did. He came over. Scott Rainey, there it was. There was a leapfrog. He came over from lane 3 and got into lane 2.
Well, he had all the room in the world to move over that 1 lane, but he couldn't. He definitely could not go 2 lanes.
Nope.
Now he's got to eat up a bunch of time.
He does. Now, the boat that's out in front of him is Quentin Miller. At the bottom right-hand side of your screen, that's Quentin Miller in the Graham Trucking. But remember, he's already a lap down. So Peyton Hop, the U10, sitting in lane number 1. Then it's going to be Travis Johnson in lane 2. The Graham Trucking is going to be in 3 with Quentin Miller, but he's a lap down. And we'll check, looking for Bo Rarick. There he comes. He's going to be on the outside. We are 2 seconds, 1 second mark. And we are racing here. Peyton Hop once again with a clean start. Peyton Hop is on the line. He is on time with a ton of boat speed. He's showing them how to do it, Scott Rainey. He's looked strong.
Boy, he's just similar to the 9 boat, just having an incredible day.
Yeah, I want to see those two get out here and square off. But up the backstretch, it is all Peyton Hop driving a U10, the Spirit of Detroit. For Dave Bardish, representing the city of Detroit extremely well. Both of the boats out of that 2-boat stable have scored heat wins today. Peyton's got 2 of them, and right now he's on his way to a 3rd, but still a long way to go. We're at the top end of the race course on the the first of 3 times around. Down the front straightaway, Peyton Hop looks in his rearview mirrors. He's got a spotter telling him there is nobody close to you. Just keep it clean, keep it running. Everything is solid. His boat looks really, really good. He'll come down, and there's a heat. The racing here, we see Bo Rarick now moving into 2nd place. We've got Quentin Miller getting wet at the top end, but he's already down a lap, so he doesn't count. The boat in 3rd place physically on the water is actually in 4th place. So looking there at the 11, the J&Ds with Travis Johnson, he is running in 3rd place, trying to run down Bo Rarick in the 440 Bucket List Racing. But way out front is Peyton Hop in the U10, the Spirit of Detroit 2. Here he comes. Peyton Hop, he'll put 2 in the books. He'll look over, get the white flag. 1 more to go. Boy, this is some pretty solid domination that we're seeing here, Scott Rainey. He looks really good.
Yeah, he pretty much just checked out, and he just needs to play conservative now and be smart, and he's got this thing won.
He does indeed, but he's got to navigate this rough and tight Madison, Indiana, Ohio River race course. Look at it, Bo Rarick. Beautiful. Look at that gorgeous hydroplane as he is in 2nd place, running down a backstretch on the 3rd of 3 times around the race course. Our 4th place boat, or 3rd place boat, will go to Travis Johnson. J&Ds. Now, top end of the race course. We'll follow our leader here all the way around the top end on the 3rd of 3 times around. He'll swing it out a little bit wider, maybe come down, look to the right, see the checkered flag, and it flies for the 3rd time today. Peyton Hop, Spirit of Detroit, U10. Man, looking good. Bo Rarick is going to come down on the outside. He will take a 2nd place finish, 300 points for Bo, driving the 440 Bucket List Racing, 3rd place. And 225 points will go to Travis Johnson, the J&Ds. The U11, there it is. Another gorgeous hydroplane. He will cut the race course and head back to the other side. Unfortunately for Quentin Miller, he will stay out on the race course and run a 4th lap. He will get scored with points, but he'll get scored with 4th place points. Unfortunately, he took himself out of the racing before the heat even started. That's a tough break, Scott Rainey. Before you even hit the start-finish line, you're already a lap down. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't intentional or anything like that, but you know, it's just it's part of the deal. There's a set of buoys out there. It's the rules, and you break the rules, and there's consequences.
Believe there's a charge for those buoys if you destroy one too. They hit you in the pocketbook a little bit too, so if you tear it up pretty bad.
Yeah, it's expensive.
So Heat 3C is in the books, which means our third section, Heats 1, 2, 3, they are all complete. We've run the A, B, and C sections of all three of them. And we will get Peyton Hopp here. I think we're getting to recognize his voice pretty good.
Yeah, he's had a perfect day so far. That's another good run.
Peyton, I think we've got you in here right now. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Well, this is becoming habit forming.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're having a problem with that at all. This seems to work pretty well.
No, yeah, this seems to be the ideal position right now. We've got 3 heat wins, and this makes up for me being absent from the first race of the season. And we're in great position. And I was also able to help out my teammate DJ there in that heat by beating Bo Rarig. So at this point, just trying to get my teammate in the final so we can have a Spirit Detroit on the front line.
When somebody lays a start on the field like you just did, I mean, you jumped on everybody right at the beginning. I usually make a comment to the driver when I talk to him. Whatever timing marks you used on that one, I'd keep those.
Oh yeah, that was pretty spot on. I felt like that was the start my old man Greg Hopp would hit. So
Scott, you got something for the young man here? He's pretty happy.
Yeah, well, you just got a perfect day going here, and it's impressive to watch. So, you know, with good starts and inside lane position, you control the race course. It's what more can you say? Well done.
yeah, appreciate it. We hope to get Spirit Detroit on the front line with the U10 and the U7, and we hope to keep up our momentum.
Yeah, I'm watching for you to line up with that Przybylski character in that U9. You guys are having pretty good days, but that's probably for down the road a piece. You're not done yet. Good luck in the fourth section. Hopefully, we'll see you in the final. Thanks, young man, for taking the time.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, Peyton Hopp, he's the winner of our Heat 3C. Gives me an opportunity here to talk just a moment about H1 Unlimited, because H1 Unlimited, as you know, Scott Reedy, they are a very proud club and organization of the American Powerboat Association. And it's the American Powerboat Association who is the national authority for boat racing in the United States. You need a sanction to go boat racing. It is the APBA that provides that sanction. The APBA is a member-driven organization established in 1903. They are headquartered in East Point, Michigan. For more information, or perhaps to join the American Powerboat Association, head to www.apba.org. And an interesting note about that date in 1903. I mentioned at the start of today's program, the first ever Gold Cup was run in 1904, and it's the oldest active motorsports trophy. Well, the year before that, the American Powerboat Association was established. A great organization we don't run without. All right, I think we're ready to go to the heat draws. So let's go to that and find out if maybe we get a Przybylski Hopp matchup before the final.
Hello everyone, Jeff Bernard here, driver of the U91 Miss Goodman Real Estates. We hope you're all staying safe. We wish we can be out there racing. Instead, for now, H1 and the Hydro Sim guys have put together this H1 E-League series, and we're going to get ready to draw the heats for the Madison Gold Cup, Heat 4A, B, and C. Okay, let's put this in here. Likely you draw first. Heat 4A.
U11.
You want to draw one right now? Pick one. B.
U3.
You want to pick one now? Now?
U10.
4A. 4B.
U.
99.9.
Yeah.
4C. 440. 4A. Oh, sorry.
U9.
4B.
U12.
4C.
U98.
4A. Last one for 4A.
U21.
4B.
U6.
4C. It's our favorite.
U91.
All right, we want to tell everyone good luck, especially our Miss Madison drivers, Kelsey Best in the Home Street and Tim Johnson in the Miss Goodman Real Estates. Have fun, guys.
Okay, thank you very much, the Bernard family. And I think that's just a tradition that we've started here. And I think it's just terrific, Scott Rainey, to have the way we're handling the draws, both in Guntersville a couple of weeks ago and today for the Gold Cup. It's always fun for the fans to see the families of some of the drivers. And they did a good job here in drawing for heats 4A, B, and C, because before we went to the draw, we were talking about the possibility of a Scott Przybylski versus Peyton Hott matchup. We got it right here, right now in Heat 4A.
Yeah, the two top guys right now in points. Scott Przybylski has 1,260 and Peyton has 1,230. They're in the catbird seat, as you might say. But one of them, do they want to continue to have a perfect weekend, or do they want to, play conservative and save for the final? Who knows? We'll see.
And this fourth section of heats, which, as we've said all day, is so important to get into the final for the Gold Cup. And the fact that we run this extra fourth section of heat racing, I got to think this is when you, as an owner and a crew chief, you really sit down with your team and especially your driver, and you sit down and you look at the draw that you get. You look at the boats you're racing against. You look at the points, and this is that last chance to earn points. You really got to make a decision, because this whole end game is to get into the final. I think this is when you really got to sit down and say, all right, who have we got to beat right now to make it into the final?
And that's exactly what we do. We'll step back, look. When you say it's our last chance to get points, we also look at it as, potentially in a rough course, which they all get rough. It's our last chance to break the boat before the final heat also. And so if you're in a position like those two guys are, where you can take it more conservative, then we probably would do that. But if you're in a position like Mickey Washburn or Travis Johnson with their boats, they gotta go for it. Put their final heat set on, their best set of timing marks, the inside lane. They got to go.
Yeah, and That's interesting because we had said earlier, we were talking about if you got a great move to get the inside lane, save it for the final. Or if you're in a position like these two guys are, Travis and Mickey, where they need points. And so if they've got a good move, no reason to go home with a trump card up your sleeve. Play it now. Pick up your 400 points. We're standing by for a countdown for Heat 4A inside 10 seconds. Heat 4A of the 2020 H1 E-League APBA Gold Cup. 2 seconds. 1. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to the start. Fans, and we got a look there at Scott Krzybilski coming up the backstretch there, and just behind him and on his right was Peyton Hoff. He's shadowing him on some level there as you see Scott come down the front straightaway there in the 9, and then just to the left of the screen there behind him and on the outside is Peyton Hoff. Now we'll see if maybe we don't get a move here from Peyton. Does he want to jump to the left and cut the course? Nope. Scott's going to slow down, and Peyton says, I'm going to take off and run by it. Now, is he going to move over? Let's see what he does. No, he's going to go hard through the corner here. Still a lot of time to kill. We're 2:30 until the start of this heat, 1:30 until the 1 minute mark. And you see Scott there just trying to bail and scruff off some time and some speed. Now here comes Peyton across the race course. Nice move. He jumped in front of Mickey Washburn there as the white boat on the right of your screen. It was coming down the front straightaway. And Peyton jumped in front of him. Now we have to wait and see where Travis Johnson is going to stick the 11. 2 minutes. Travis has still got plenty of time here. You heard Scott say he's waiting for him to come out of his shell. This is an extremely good driver, very accomplished in this game and in this sport. As I mentioned at the outset, these are the very best drivers. The real race teams of these real boats pick these drivers, which means Scott Rainey, talking with us here, he picked Travis Johnson as his driver. He picked him because he's darn good. So here we go. Look at that traffic jam down to the lower end of the course. What's Travis going to do here, Scott?
Well, I got to come clean. Actually, Shannon picked Travis as the driver, and we felt that it was just a necessary thing. He's our crew guy. He can do anything on the boat we ever need of him, and he's coming from the outside here. Let's see if he can go steal one of the inside lanes here.
Mark, 1 minute in the clean score. If he's on the outside with boat speed, look at him go. If he's going to get an opportunity, that's close. That's close. I don't know if he's going to be able to move over. He did. He is going to move over into, I think he's in lane 3. He's in lane 3. Mickey Washburn ran right up the back of Travis Johnson. Oh, the official radio is going to be buzzing on that one. Where is Hop? There is no call from the officials on that one. Przybylski is in 1. It is Travis in 2. Where is Peyton Hop? Keeping an eye out for him. He's going to come up behind these two boats. We're expecting him to show up with a lot of boat speed. We'll keep an eye looking for him. Off the top end of the race course here. We're inside 15 seconds until the start. Right now, it is Przybylski on the inside. Travis Johnson on the outside lane. 2 here. Comes Hop with boat speed and a lot of boat speed on the outside. Peyton's flying on the outside. The start is clean. Oh, Scott Rainey, we couldn't see him, but we knew he was coming, and he came hard. Now
Wow,
down
that
the
was
lower end of the
impressive.
race course, he is holding him off. He's on the outside. He's leaving room in there. It looked like Travis may have had a lane in there, but he was having a hard time holding on to it, but he did. Now Przybylski with that lightning quick U9 Delta Reel track. Can he run down Peyton Hop? Holy smoke. Look at this racing. It is excellent racing, and Peyton Hop's got he's had an accident there. Oh my goodness. Travis Johnson in the U11 J&Ds has been issued a 1-lap penalty for cutting off Scott Przybylski in the U9 Delta Reel track. Oh, that is absolutely a shame, Scott Rainey, because that was going to be an incredible 3-lap race between those 3 guys.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It looked like he got in there and oversteered a little bit. And let's not take away what Peyton is doing. He made an incredible start from the outside there.
Boy, did he ever. And so you're looking at Travis Johnson there running in second place, but in actuality, he is a full lap down. So it is all Peyton Hop. But what we saw here, Peyton Hop and Scott Przybylski, ooh, that's going to happen again before this day's done. And the next time they can meet will be in the final. And I'm looking forward to that one. And there's going to be some other big speed with those guys. We have got a final heat for the 2020 H1 E-League Gold Cup really setting up to be something special. Przybylski has shown us, and he did in this heat, he's got a ton of speed. And so does Peyton Hop. He's shown us he can start inside. And this time, he showed us he can do it on the outside. He looked good.
Well, I'm not sure which one of those guys is the favorite, but boy, they're both really fast.
They really are. So we're looking at some really good racing here up the backstretch here, top end of the race course here on our third and final lap. But it's the third and final lap for the boat on the outside. That is Peyton Hop. The boat on the inside, the U11 J&D Travis Johnson. He is a lap down. So Peyton is done. He's our first place finisher. He'll pick up yet another 400 points. That'll give him 1,230 on the day. Check that. That'll give him more than that. And we've got oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Peyton made a left-hand turn to cut across the race course. It appeared as though he went right in front of Travis Johnson.
Yeah, in real racing, that would cause a fist fight in the pits, that's for sure.
The driver's gloves would have come off. Oh my goodness. What a tough break. And we're going to have to wait and just listen to this one. The officials are going to have to take a look at this. The heat was completed from the standpoint of Peyton Hop, but that still doesn't mean you can go out and just chop somebody off like that. We'll have to wait and see how they rule it and how they score it. But that's a tough heat for Travis Johnson right there. Your driver had a rough one in that heat.
He'll live to fight another day. You know, I'm sure he'll be on there later tonight playing with whoever shows up. So, you know,
who's ever online to play, he'll be there.
Absolutely. And he's been a great crew guy for our J&D's team. And, you know, he'll continue to practice and he'll win one of these days.
There's a lot of chatter going on. We're going to, all right. We're waiting to get Peyton Hop in here, and while we do that, we're waiting to hear if there is any call on the officials here, or from the officials. We got Peyton on again, and I said it before, I'll say it again. It's becoming quite a habit for me. You and I are going to be best friends by the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty comfortable here in the announcer's booth. I could do this all day.
Boy, that was going to be an awful lot of fun with you and Scott. And then all of a sudden, Scott went away. But I think he let you know, and you let him know that you came to race, and you got an awfully quick combination to put in that final heat. Your boat's really running strong.
Yeah. Me and Scott, we've had perfect days. Very unfortunate how you got involved in an incident there. It was shaping up to be a pretty good race between me, Scott, and Travis there. But you take your points no matter the situation, and perfect we can head into the final. I'll take that any day of the week.
I always ask drivers this when I'm at a real boat race, and I'm going to throw the same question at you. What does Peyton Hop do right now? You go outside and shake it off and get some fresh air and get ready to go, or what do you do? You're in the final, obviously. You've had a perfect day so far. You want to win this Gold Cup. What does Peyton Hop do for the next 25 minutes?
Well, starting the day off when you're, on the first flight of heat, you start off in the zone for the preliminary heats. You try to get focused and get as much points as you can, just so you can guarantee yourself in the final. But now that I'm in the final, now I have to enter a complete different zone because it's a whole different ball game when you're just doing the preliminary heats and when it comes for a winner-take-all final. So at that point, it's just basically change your strategy up if you have to, and prepare yourself for 5 laps of fury.
It's the inaugural season of the H1 Unlimited E-League. It's our second race of the season, but this is the first ever H1 Unlimited E-Racing Series APBA Gold Cup. What would it mean to win it?
Oh, it means so much. I mean, especially considering I was absent from the first race and down on points, and I've already had a perfect weekend, so it would just be icing on the cake to have a perfect weekend in the preliminary heats and in the final, and walk away as the first Gold Cup champion, and help bring Dave Bardish and his team the E-League Gold Cup for the Spirit Detroit team.
That would be some kind of fun, I am sure. Scott Rainey, you got a question for the young guy before we let him go sit in the truck and get his thoughts together?
Yeah. Hey, I was just kind of wondering, maybe the fans want to know, what do you do to prepare for this race? What do you do to prepare, in practicing and whatnot?
I mean, the most important thing, especially with this format, is just the pre-mill. I mean, who are you going against? What timing marks are you going to have in certain situations against certain drivers? It's a real mind game that you have to play. So you just practice for all these sorts of situations, depending where you're out in the course. And I've been practicing all week, and I think I got most of my timing marks down, and just basically go at it.
Well, young man, whatever it is you're going to do before the final, go get ready, because you've been running against 3 other boats so far today. When you go out there for the final, there's going to be 4 other boats on the water, and you're going to have to go 2 extra laps. We as fans can't wait. Go get ready, and we'll see you in the final.
Definitely have to catch my breath for this one. Let's go.
All right. Thank you, young man. Peyton Hop, boy, he's ready. And I can't wait for the final. And let's find out who is going to join Peyton and Scott, because we know both of those guys are going to be there. It's time now for our Heat 2B. Before we get there, I want to again take a moment and thank our sponsors. Again, as I keep saying, but it's as true now as it was earlier in the broadcast. Without our sponsors, this doesn't happen. So Jesse's Stitches, who've been doing embroidery and more in Snohomish, Washington since the early 90s, and not even the early 90s, since 1990. And Atomic Screen Printing, almost in business as long. They started their business in 1998 in Kennewick, Washington, and they have become a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen printed and embroidered products. And our lead sponsor, Staples. They are the one-stop shop for all your home office needs. Jesse Stitches, Atomic Screen Printing, and Staples. Don't forget them. 10 seconds away from the start of our Heat 4B. We've got 2 more preliminaries to go. That's going to be buckled up for the final. 2 seconds, 1 mark. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to our Heat 4B. Let's take a look at the 4 boats that'll be coming out on the water here. The U3, a bright red piston-powered Griggs Ace Hardware, driven by Cy Bowen. This boat has shown some incredible speed at various points throughout the day. Look for them to be strong. But he's going to be joined out there by Kelsey Best. Kelsey Best driving the Miss Home Street, the U6. That's the powder blue and white boat on the water, owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana. Another strong boat in this particular field, Quentin Miller. Remember, he was the winner of our race 2 weeks ago in Guntersville, Alabama. He, Quentin, will be driving the red trimmed in black and silver U12 at Graham Trucking. And if you want to make a 4-boat heat look really strong, let's invite Eddie Canfouche, and the Bucket List presents Miss Rock to the party, the U99.9. It's Bowen, Best, Miller, Canfouche. Uh-oh, this looks good, Mr. Rainey.
Well, yeah, it is good. You got two guys who are maybe in the final heat already with the 3-boat and with the 6-boat with the Home Street boat.
Yep.
And you have two guys who are extremely fast in Quentin Miller in that Graham Trucking boat and Eddie Campouche in the 99.9 boat, who really need the points. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens here.
It's going to be very interesting, and you wonder if there's a possibility. I don't have all the points right in front of you. Is it possible that Eddie Campouche could get eliminated if they could beat him and keep him out of the final right now? I'm sure, as we talked before this section of heat started, that's the type of conversation that you guys had in the truck. You know, yeah, we don't need to beat him. That's fine, but if we did beat him, maybe this is an opportunity to ensure we don't have to deal with him in the final heat. On the other side of the coin, we've got the U12 Graham Trucking. Quentin Miller, as I said, he was a winner a couple of weeks ago in Guntersville, Alabama. But you will remember in his previous heat, he struck a buoy during the milling period, and he was a lap down before the heat even got started. Quentin would love to have a strong showing here. So we're about to find out. Look at the U3, Griggs Ace Hardware side Bowen. We're inside 2:30 to the start of our Heat 4B. We'll have one more preliminary heat after this one. That'll be Heat 4C. No consolation race today to make it into the trailer boat position of the final. Not going to have that heat today. We're going to take the top 6 boats in points. The top 5 will run on the front row of the final. Our 6th boat will be our trailer. So no consolation. This is the last chance. 2 minutes. 2 minutes until the start of our Heat 4B. Looks like Quentin Miller right now sitting on the inside as they approach that. Well, but look at Eddie. Look at Eddie. Is he going to go? Looks like he is going to go. Yeah, he's not going to stick around down there. He's going to accelerate out of there. So Quentin Miller, at the moment at least, appears to be sitting in lane number 1 with Kelsey Best just behind him and to the outside. Now watch and see Eddie. 130. I was just going to say, see if Eddie doesn't cut the race course here. 130. Yeah, he's got to come back over to the front straightaway. What's he going to do here with side Bowen? He's going to go outside side Bowen. So you mentioned a bonsai start, Scott Rainey. Maybe that's what we're going to see from Mr. Canfouche here, unless he's got a trick up his sleeve to try and leapfrog. 10 seconds until the 1 minute mark. We'll see what happens. Miller is currently sitting in 1. Best is in 2. Mark. This would be a clean score up. What's Eddie going to do? Is he going to try and move over? If he moves over 1, he'd get in front of Cy Bowen, but Cy Bowen in the piston boat says, I'm going to run up here with you. Clearly, he does not have enough room to move over. Kelsey was able to did Kelsey move into lane number 1? He certainly did. Leapfrog, and now look at this. Look at Quentin Miller. He is going to run up, and he is going to move in on Cy Bowen. That's going to be close. That's going to be close, but now he moves back outside. Cy Bowen is still sitting in 2, but man, they are early. Very early up there. Oh, boy, that was an interesting score up and run down to the start here, which we haven't even had yet. But the way they scored up there, remember, Eddie Campouche is on the far outside. Kelsey Best is in 1. It is Cy Bowen in 2. It's Miller in 3. Where's Eddie? He's going to come. We are in 5. We're 3, 2, 1. Mark. And there is Eddie Campouche. Holy cow. He and Kelsey Best just left the other 2 boats at the start-finish line. We couldn't see Canfouche, Scott, but we knew he was coming on the outside eventually.
Oh, he nailed the start there, and Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's still 3 laps to go, but he did exactly what he had to do right there on the outside.
Man, he sure did, and he is rocking and rolling down the backstretch now. He is in lane 2, and Kelsey Best is sitting just behind him, about half a rooster tail back, driving a home street. Kelsey's got an awfully fast race, but look at Eddie holding him tight. Eddie's going to give him a lane, but he's not going to give him any more, and Kelsey's getting a little wet in there. That looks like a legal lane to me, but not a lane and a half, but you only got to give him one. Eddie Canfouche knows how to drive that race boat, and he's driving the daylights out of it right now. Oh, the Stockland team up there at their viewing party's got to be happy. Their bright orange boat is out front. Now look at Eddie holding him tight again. Lap number 2 of 3, bottom end of the race course. Kelsey's having a little bit of a hard time hanging on to that inside lane, and Eddie Canfouche is doing his best to make it as difficult as possible. But Kelsey Best is hanging right there, Scott Rainey. He's only about 3 boat lengths back.
He's done an incredible job holding that inside lane, and there's only one lane there, or maybe 3/4 of a lane, but he's doing a great job staying right there and keeping Eddie Canfouche honest.
He sure is, and that was a great shot there through the corner. You saw how Eddie was giving him a lane. No more, a lane. If you're going to want to drive in there on me, he says, go ahead. I'm going to give you a lane. I'm not going to give you any more. But to your point, Kelsey's doing a great job. But so far, he has not been able to cut into that lead substantially of Eddie Canfouche. We're at the lower end of the race course here on lap 3 of 3. This is the final lap. And it is Eddie Canfouche still hanging on by 3 or 4 boat lengths. Now we'll keep the camera right here. Oh, I thought we were going to have it again into the corner. But watch how Eddie will hold him in there tight. And Kelsey's going to have to hold that line through there. You see Eddie start the turn. He leaves the lane in for Kelsey. Great corner up there, top end. Both drivers doing an outstanding job. And here comes Fast Eddie Canfouche, putting the fast in that name this time. He will come down and pick up the checkered flag and 400 points. Kelsey Best will come home in second place with 300. Quentin Miller comes home in third. And our fourth place boat is going to be Cy Bowen, and the Go 3 Racing Griggs presents Ace Hardware. There's a couple of drivers right there. If those were real boats, they'd be looking out the window at each other going, that was fun. Let's do that again. Because that's what they like to do, Scott. They like to run side by side like that.
Oh, absolutely. That was a good race. And Eddie channeled his inner Bill Muncy there and flying from the outside. Nailed it.
I love it. Channel the inner Bill Muncy. I like that. What was Bill's old line? I'm going to tie the field from the outside and take him to the turn. Ugh. And it was good, too, because we could see the 3 boats at the start. We went, where's Eddie? Where's it? We knew he was coming. And boy, did he come flying around on the outside. And he and Kelsey had so much more boat speed than Quentin Miller and Cy Bowen. They left them at the start. Those two were out at the beginning. That was good. That was good. Now we're going to get an opportunity here, hopefully, to talk to Eddie Canfouche and talk a little bit about that start and see where he thinks they're going to shake out here in the points. I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Well, it's close. I'm looking at the points right here, and Eddie has 1,080 points now, and with everything tallied the way it is, he's currently in 5th place. So there's a possibility. And he's joining us now, Brad.
Okay. Eddie Canfouche, Brad Luce here, along with Scott Rainey. Good to talk to you today. We're hoping we might talk to you earlier. You've got to feel really good about that one. That was a whale of a drive.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I was also hoping I could be in here a little earlier, but things didn't really go as planned earlier in the day. But the Miss Rock, that was a fun heat. I yelled a little bit crossing the line because I know I'm in a really tough point spot and I'm going to need some luck to go my way to make sure I can make that final, but that was a fun drive.
Well, it was certainly a fun watch, I can tell you that for sure. As Scott and I were watching the 3 boats come up to the start-finish line at the beginning, and I say 3 boats because we couldn't see you from the camera angle we had, but we knew you were coming. And then all of a sudden, you just burst into view on the outside. Kelsey was on the inside, and you two just left the other 2 boats at the start. And the other point I want to bring up is I made the comment a couple of times. You were going to give Kelsey Best a lane. You weren't going to give him a lane and a half or a lane and a quarter. You were going to give him a lane. You held him in tight, but boy, he was able to hang in there and stay right with you.
Yeah, Kelsey's a really good driver. He's very fast, and an old boat racing saying that I was thinking of the whole time was a lane and an inch, and that's all he got.
I think I've actually used that one myself today a little bit because we'd say that. Yeah, I think you got 30 feet. Well, you give him 30 feet and an inch. And if you want to drive in there, it's fine. I'm going to make it as hard on you as I can. You needed the points. You had to beat him.
I did, yeah. Looking at how the points are shaking out, it's a really tough spot to be in, especially after the DNF in the first heat. So I did what I can do. Big thanks to Staples, Atomic Screen Printing, and Jesse Stitches for helping out the series, and KISW and the Stocklands for letting me drive their boat. This is fun. We'll see how this shakes out.
Scott, you got anything for the young man here? He sounds pretty happy.
Well, I'm just impressed. We got an old boat racing saying from one of our youngest competitors, and I love it. Way to go. That was a great run.
Thank you.
Eddie, thank you very much. Let's hope you make it. Go start counting points. Let's see where you are. On our list, you're sitting at number 5 right now, but we still got a heat to run here. We'll see how it shakes out.
All right. Thank you very much.
Good luck, young man. Eddie Canfoosh, driver of the U99.9 Bucket List, presents Miss Rock. I got a hunch the Stockland family had some cheering going on up there. They were having a good time at the viewing party. So right now, if you look at the points the boats have currently, and you look at the boats that are still to run in our Heat 4C, and there are 4 of them, the 7, the 91, the 98, and the 440. If you figure all that out and put it into the computer and spit it out the other side, we have 3 boats that are already guaranteed a spot on the front row of the final. The U6, the Miss Home Street with Kelsey Best. The U9, the Delta Real Track with Scott Przybylski. And you know who the third one is. U10, Spirit of Detroit 2, Peyton Hop. So Hop, Przybylski, and Best are all locked into the final on the front row. There's going to be 5 boats on that front row. So we still got 2 spots to yet determine. That's all going to come out in our Heat 4C. Just the way we'd like it, Scott Rainey. Let's leave it right to the very end and let them hang out to dry.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. We got, the 3 locked in, and then we got, Cy Bowen and Eddie Canfoosh kind of hanging out to see what their fate is. It all kind of hinges on this heat now. We got the the 91 boat could if they win a heat, they're in. If the 3 appears to be in the final if you're looking at points. So the 440 boat, if they win a heat, they could be the next boat in the final. It's just the 7 boat, if he wins, he could be in the final. So who wins? Who wants to go to the final heat?
Who wants to go to the final heat of the first ever Gold Cup? And what a story it would be if the 7 and DJ was able to get into the final heat. We would have both our Spirit of Detroit hydroplanes in the final heat. That would be pretty cool. So instead of talking about it, let's figure it out. Let's get our Heat 4C out on the water. We will stand by, listen to the officials here. They will give us a countdown. We're getting some, we've got some talking going on in our ear from the officials who are doing a terrific job of crunching some numbers. Here's something to think about, and this is interesting because they're teammates, Scott Rainey, and I'll let you speak to this. But should Bo Rarig, driving the 440 Bucket List Racing 2, should Bo Rarig win this heat, Eddie Canfoosh, driving the Bucket List Presents Miss Rock, his teammate, would be on the front row of the final.
Yeah, that's crazy. We'll just see what happens here. He's very capable of winning this heat, as is any of these guys are capable.
So here it is. It's the oldest active motorsports trophy in the world. We got guys hanging on by a thread trying to make the final. I said a moment ago, let's stop talking about it. Let's put them on the water. Let's run this bad boy. And with that, we got a countdown. We're 2, 1, mark. Heat 4C coming out. And speaking of Bo Rarig, there he is. Oh, I can assume everybody up at Kelly and Sharon Stockland's shop is standing up, walking around. They're pacing like it's the real Gold Cup, Scott Rainey.
Yeah, there's a lot of nerves here. I mean, I'm all wound up too.
This is awesome. So our 4 boats that are going to come out here, we have the, I have a error on my list here. I believe it is the 7, and DJ Miller is in this. Is that correct?
Yeah, DJ Miller's in this heat, and our top qualifier, and he's in a good position here. If he can win this heat, that'd give him 11:25, and I think that would secure him a spot in the final on the front row. So, he's gonna obviously show his A game here.
Absolutely. So our top qualifier has got a shot to get both Spirit of Detroit boats into the final heat, and on the front row, that was the U7. The boat is predominantly red with 2 blue stripes down either side of the cowling on the decking. Going to be joined in the heat by the 91. That is the Goodman Real Estate hydroplane. The boat is black and gold. It is driven by Matt Johnson, one of our brand new sponsors here. We also have the U98 Graham Trucking American Dream, Matt Johnson, riding the red, white, and blue hydroplane. There you see it on your screen. And rounding out the field is the Tennessee Orange Bucket List Racing 2. You just heard us talking about it. Bo Rarig behind the wheel of the 440. His biggest fan is Eddie Canfouche. Could Bo step up, take this heat, and put teammate Eddie on the front row of the final? We are about to find out. It is Heat 4C. It's our last preliminary. After this one, the only thing left is the final. So, Miller, Johnson, and Rarig. In just under 3 minutes until our start. You see DJ Miller on the right side of the screen there, coming down the front straightaway. I believe that is the 91, Tim Johnson, that he's following down there. Here comes Bo on the outside in the orange boat. He will continue to cruise around and say, nope, I'm not going to play this game just yet. And here comes Matt Johnson, driving the American Dream Grant Trucking, the 98. So as soon as we complete this heat, we're going to get the final picture of the final heat, but a lot is going to happen before them. Right now, it is Tim Johnson in 1, DJ Miller sitting in 2, and look at the maneuver being done here by Matt Johnson. He is going to step across both of those 2 boats. 1, but 2 minutes to go. He doesn't have enough time to sit there and troll. He's got to go. And that was very smart driving by the other 2 drivers, Scott Rainey, because they watched him go around him and thought, he can't do this. He doesn't have it. He's got too much time. And they let him go.
Yeah, I thought he was going to sneak in there, but it just didn't slow down enough, so he decided he needed to go all the way around.
Inside 130. There's a boat to watch in this one, Bo Rarig. If you've got a good move to pull off here, young man, this would be the time to do it. So inside a minute and a half, coming up on 1 minute, 15 seconds until the 1 minute mark. It is Johnson sitting in 1. Next to him is DJ Miller in. It is Madison in. And here comes Bo on the outside. 2 seconds. 1. Clean score up. Everything is good and clean at that point. Bo Rarig's not going to get an opportunity to move over because Matt Johnson is way up on the field. Is Matt going to move across? He is. Yep, he's got overlap. At least it appears that way here. He went all the way to 1. And now it's getting real close behind him between the Goodman Real Estate and DJ Miller and the Spirit of Detroit. But they have sorted it out. They've got it sorted out now. And on the inside is Matt Johnson. Lane 2 is Tim Johnson. Lane 3 will go to DJ Miller. And we'll watch for Bo Rarig to come up on the outside. Great leapfrog there by Matt Johnson in the 98, the American Dream. Now they've got, here comes Ferrig behind everybody. He may be able to come with a whole bunch of boat speed. We're inside 20 seconds to the start. We're inside 15. And we are 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. And we are racing it on the inside. That Johnson has jumped the gun in the red, white, and blue Grand Trucking American Dream. So your boat on the inside after the great leapfrog jumped the clock. He is out of it. So it's the other three boats in lane 2, 3, and 4 that are racing here for Heat 4C. And on the outside, it's Bo Raring. He is in second place. Could he possibly run down Tim Johnson? And Canfouche is standing and screaming, "Go get him, Bo!" It would put Canfouche into the final. And you've got three boats, deck to deck to deck, up the backstretch. Extremely tight boat racing. Top end of the race course here. Tim Johnson. And we've had a big crash with a couple of boats up there. Well, the only one left standing that is legit is the Goodman Real Estate. And Tim Johnson out in front of it is Matt Johnson. He jumped the gun. He is out. DJ Miller and Bo Rarig are both down and out.
Well, if things continue like this and the Goodman Real Estate boat, the 91 boat, continues and finishes in first place with basically no challenge, he's going to be one of the guys in the final heat here.
He's going to be that fifth boat because we've already got four of our boats determined. The 3, the 6, the 9, and the 10. We would mix in the 91 and Tim Johnson. But first things first, got to be clean. Just keep it clean. I'm sure he's being told. He is all by himself out there. There you see the view he's got as he comes down the front straightaway, puts lap 2 of 3 in the books. He's got one more to go. The boat that is out in front of him there is Matt Johnson, the American Dream. But remember, he jumped the gun and is a lap down. Tim Johnson, and we say this all the time, Scott Rainey, it's one thing to be the fastest boat on the water. It's another to be clean and be legal. You got to check that box as well.
Yeah, well, it was especially critical in this heat here. And while he was fast, he's gonna win this heat and secure his spot in the final by the others having a problem. And it just appears the 440 boat was just kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time with the DJ Miller having a problem.
So here we come down to complete the heat. It's Heat 4C. The win is going to go to Tim Johnson, driving the U91, the Goodman Real Estate. And we were talking about possibly having both Spirit of Detroit boats in the final heat. It looks like instead we will have both boats owned by the city of Madison, Indiana, in the final heat of the Madison, Indiana APBA Gold Cup. Those folks can't be any more pleased than to have both their boats on the front row of the final.
Yeah, it looks like Eddie Canfouche is actually going to be in the final heat, but according to my tally, he's going to be the trailer boat. And the 91 boat is going to be in the final heat, along with the 3, the 6, the 9, and the 10.
So it's the 3, the 6, the 9, the 10, and the 91, correct? I'm asking.
Yeah, that's correct. And
yes, we've just got it official. That is correct.
The 99.9 is the trailer boat.
So Eddie's going to be the final, but he's going to be back there trailing the field. So let's go down our list of boats that are going to be in the final. The U3, the piston powered. Go 3 Racing. Griggs presents Ace Hardware. Cy Bowen doing the driving. Front row of the final. The hometown Miss Home Street. The U6, Kelsey Best behind the wheel. They are on the front row of the final. The U9, Delta Reel Track. Scott Przbilski. They are on the front row of the final. The 10, the Black and Gold Spirit of Detroit 2, driven by Peyton Hopp. They are on the front row of the final. Rounding out our 5-boat front row, the U91, the Goodman Real Estate with Tim Johnson. He just won Heat 4C. He is going to find his way to the front row for the final. Our sixth boat will be our trailer boat. That is Eddie Canfouche and the Bucket List presents Miss Rock. Final heat. Tim, have we got you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Tim, good to have you here. Congratulations. There was a lot of activity going on behind you, and I thought you were going to have 3 laps of side-by-side pounding, but all of a sudden you found yourself out front, and things got real easy from there. You just had to finish. Talk
Yeah,
us through it.
I got pretty fortunate there. I first want to thank Staples, Goodman Real Estate, the citizens of Madison, Indiana, Atomic Screen Printing, and Jesse Stitches for all their support in this. But yeah, it was definitely a tight race, and I got pretty fortunate with what happened behind me, and looking forward to bringing home the Gold Cup in the final.
Well, we made a comment when we realized you were going to be in the final heat. We're holding our first ever H1 Unlimited E-League APBA Gold Cup. We're holding it in Madison, Indiana, on the banks of the Ohio River, and both boats that are owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana, are on the front row of the final. That's got to be fun and a big deal for the citizens of Madison.
Yeah, we're looking forward to making them proud.
Well, we are looking forward to the final heat, so go get yourself ready. Quick turnaround here. Go get yourself ready. Get out there. Go claim a Gold Cup, young man. All right, Tim Johnson, he just took off the helmet. He will go throw it back on virtually, jump back in his boat. Our final field: the 3, the 6, the 9, the 10, the 91 on the front row, or said another way, Bowen, Best, Przbilski, Hop, Johnson, Canfouche, the trailer. Buckle up, Scott Rainey. It's a winner-take-all final. We go 5 times around. This is going to be good.
Yeah, who's going to go get this inside lane? I mean, it's going to be a battle, and any one of these guys could win. And you know, if there's a mistakes are made, don't discount the young man who's in the trailer position. I mean, any one of these guys could do it.
Absolutely, anybody can. And as we've seen, boats can blow over. We've had a guy hit a buoy during the milling period. We've had accidents. We've had this. We've had that. Anything could happen. And Eddie could find himself, all of a sudden out front, just like we saw it with Tim in the last heat. We are coming up on our 5-minute mark for the final heat. It's the APBA Gold Cup from Madison, Indiana. We're 3, 2, 1, mark. 5 minutes to the first ever H1 Unlimited E-League Racing Series APBA Gold Cup. And don't think for 1 minute each one of these guys wouldn't like to claim that prize. Oh, here we go. We talked about it earlier in the day, Scott Rainey. If you've got that trick move up your sleeve, here's when you pull it out.
Yeah, I mean, Hop's been pretty fortunate there to grab the inside lane and sneak in there, manipulate his way in there, however you want to say it, in the earlier heats. And this is we'll see what happens here. Not sure if he's going to be the guy or not.
So we're being told and advised of a bit of a malfunction here in the game and the start procedure, not so much the game, but in the start procedure. And so we are going to re-rack the start and start it over again. So hang on. We're 5 seconds to the 5-minute gun, and we will do it again. 2, 1, mark. 5 minutes, 5 minutes. And Scott Rainey, one of the things we talk about at real boat races, and as we come out on the course for the final heat, usually you have 4 boats on the water that you've had all day. You've got to run extra laps than what you've run in the preliminary heats, and it also is for the big trophy. And so we make the comment many times, sometimes this milling period can get a little bit dicey and it can get a little bit active. I expect we're going to see things get pretty interesting here over the next 4 minutes as these guys jockey for that all-important inside lane.
Well, you already noticed they left the boats, left the virtual pit area, and they are getting after it. They all want to have course position, and you're starting to see it already.
Remember, we said earlier that the boats must come out on the race course, and before they can go park down there in lane one, they've got to turn one lap at speed. So a good observation there, Scott Rainey pointing out, here's what everybody's doing. Are they racing to get all the way down there in that lower corner? Possibly. But they've got to turn that one fast lap first. Here's a couple of guys that are going to go hard down on the lower end of the race course. That Tim Johnson on the outside. And he is chasing Scott Przybylski in the 9 as they go through the lower corner there and start up the backstretch. So we'll see how all this shakes out. But this one is for all the marbles. 5 laps, winner take all. Kelsey Best, could he claim the Gold Cup in Madison, Indiana for the citizens of Madison, Indiana in their boat? And Scott, you've been in Madison. You have raced there many times. You have seen how those fans react to that boat. The 3, Cy Bowen. The U3, Griggs Ace Hardware Cy Bowen has blown over and is out. The piston boat is out of the race here, so we've already lost one. And we are being advised Eddie Canfouche, who was the trailer, because the U3 has blown over, Canfouche can now put the bucket list presents Miss Rock on the front row. What a change of events, Scott Rainey.
Wow. Now it's all, now you just throw another guy into the mix who could win. And it's unfortunate for Cy Bowen because he was a legitimate contender.
He really
feel
was.
bad for that young man.
Holy cow. And so the one thing these drivers did not want was Eddie Canfouche on the front row. But now he's going to be there. Kelsey Best sitting in lane number 1. Right next to him, Scott Przybylski. Coming down behind them in lane number 3 appears to be Tim Johnson in the 91, the real estate. 2 minutes. 2 minutes to the start.
They all got their downriggers out, it looks like.
Yep. On the outside there, the U10, there's Peyton Hopp. Where is he going to stick things? And he's got Eddie Canfouche ahead of him with 1:45 to go. See if anybody cuts, they do. Here comes Peyton. Peyton's going to come across the infield here. It's a legal maneuver, cutting front to back, or back to front where he did. And that move, as you see, stuck him inside of Eddie Canfouche. Now we'll watch the clock and what's going on down at the lower end of the race course. These guys are going to come up behind the other 3 boats. And there they are. Kelsey Best is in 1. Przybylski is in 2. Tim Johnson is in 3. And here comes the other 2 boats and a bunch of speed aboard. Look at this. These guys are going to come hard through the corner here. Tim Johnson in lane number 4 going real hard through there. And is Peyton Hopp in lane 4? If everybody was clean, now can anybody leapfrog? Is anybody going to get the inside lane away? Is it going to be? He's got legal overlap there. We're watching to see if Peyton can move over. He does. He comes over to lane 2, and it was legal. Now we've got a little bit of dicing going on there. Canfouche is in 3. Best is in 1. It is Peyton Hopp in 2. Canfouche is in 3. And a lot of speed. And Scott Przybylski is in 4. Whoa, this is going to get really good now. And they are going to come up behind the rest of the field here. They are early. They're scruffing off speed. They're going to turn up the wick here very, very closely. Best, 15 seconds until our start. Best is in 1. Hopp is in 2. Then it is Przybylski is in 4. And on the far outside, it's Tim Johnson. 2 seconds. 1. Mark. We'll get the word clock. Scott Przybylski and Tim Johnson have both jumped the gun. Look at things happen now. We're down to Canfouche, Hopp, and Best. And it is Kelsey Best going through the corner first. He's on the inside, and he's got about a half a rooster tail already. 3 boats are already out of our 6-boat final. 2 of them are still running, but they jumped the gun and they're a lap down. Racing up the backstretch now. Kelsey Best, the U6 Miss Homestreet. He's got half a rooster tail over Peyton Hopp. Peyton Hopp has got his hands full with Eddie Canfouche right on the right outside. Scott, we said all day long anything can happen. What dramatic events have occurred here in our final heat on the end of lap number 1.
I'm in awe of Kelsey Best and what he did with that Home Street boat. got to keep maintaining the inside lane and then making a great start, getting first to the corner. And now it's his race to lose.
It is his race to lose, but man, has he got a lot of speed on the outside. Down the backstretch here on lap number 2, Kelsey Best. He is holding on. He's trying to run away and hide, but Peyton Hop and Eddie Canfouche are not going to let him go. Hop's got his right side rear view mirror full of Eddie Canfouche, so he's trying to run down our leader, but at the same time trying to defend his position from Eddie Canfouche. But to your point, Kelsey Best just driving a beautiful boat race here. He's got a full rooster tail lead on the field. He's got a full rooster tail. Now moving to the inside, Peyton Hop is going to try and sneak up on the inside with 2 in the books and 3 more to go. Down to the lower end of the race course on the 3rd of 5 times around. Kelsey Best leaving room in there. Peyton's found his way to the inside, but he's really tight in there. Now he's found some clean water. Kelsey knows where he is, but he's keeping the boat in lane number 2. Obviously, he likes that line around the race course. Look at Eddie Canfouche coming on the outside. He actually goes by Hop. He's moved into 2nd place, Scott.
Boy, they're having a heck of a race. And, Peyton Hop there snuck to the inside. I was a little surprised to see Kelsey Best leaving that room on the inside. But now the Home Street boat's stretched out the lead just a little bit.
He has stretched it out. We have 3 laps in the book. We have 2 to go. We're down to the bottom end of the race course here on the 4th of 5 times around. Oh, we're trying to see if Peyton can hang into that inside lane. Kelsey's keeping him really tight in there. He is doing his best to hold on, but it is difficult to say the least. He and Eddie Canfouche are having a whale of a race. Canfouche is on the outside. If you can pick a leader up the backstretch, you're better than I am. Those 2 boats are literally tied together. But it's Kelsey Best out front by 3/4 of a rooster tail. Got boats in his mirrors on either side. But what he is doing, Kelsey Best is saying, if I drive my race the line I want, and I keep this boat light and fast, nobody can go by me. And that's what he's doing. Just focus on what's ahead of him, not what is behind him. 4 laps of fire in the book. We are on the final lap. Can you imagine what's going through that young man's mind, Scott Rainey?
Oh man, we always say you hear all the nuts and bolts rattling loose or anything like that, but he's probably hoping he doesn't get so excited he kicks the power cord.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a good thing right now. Half a lap to go. I can envision everybody in Madison, Indiana is standing and cheering for the powder blue of Miss Home Street. Look at Hop. He's going to give it one more run on the inside. Oh, this might get really close. They're coming down to complete lap 5 and pick up the checkered flag. And it is over. The gold cup is going to go to Kelsey Best and Miss Home Street. The U6 Kelsey Best has done it. Wow, Peyton Hop said, I'm going to give it one more run on the inside. He closed, Scott, but he just couldn't quite get there.
Well, what a drive. What a drive by Kelsey Best and representing Home Street Bank. And, I think Jeff Bernard is his radio guy today. And hats off to those guys. The people of Madison ought to be really proud that they have this young man representing their team and the job he did. It was phenomenal. Well done.
It really was phenomenal, and he handles himself so very well. We'll get him up here and get him on the pipes, and we talked to him earlier today. He will be extremely excited. He is a boat racer. Look at him come by there, and he kind of buzzes the shoreline to show everybody we did it, we got it. Kelsey Best, he's 33 years old. He's born in Redmond, Washington, but he now resides down in Mesa, Arizona. And in talking with Kelsey, he is so honored to be representing the Miss Madison racing team and Home Street Bank. He is going to be extremely happy. And I know somewhere out there, there's a young man who is his very good friend who goes by the name of Jimmy Shane. He's pretty happy for his buddy Kelsey. He will be a great Gold Cup champion.
That was great. That was a great run. And, Peyton kept digging, and Eddie was right there too, and they kept him honest. They made him work for it. That wasn't a coast in the park.
Oh no, not at all. He earned it for sure, and that's fabulous. Kelsey Best, the U6 Miss Home Street, And if there are watch parties going on in Madison, you mentioned one in the pit area that was going on. And we're not talking a virtual party down there. We're talking a real party. They're pretty happy down there right now, I would assume. I
Yeah,
think we have
I
got
suspect.
Kelsey
Yeah,
here. Kelsey, are you with us?
I am. Thanks, Brad.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to let Scott have a couple of questions here in a moment as well, because you got both of us on the line. But first of all, let me thank you for the show you put on all day with the Home Street and the rest of the H1 Unlimited E-League Racing Series. It was a fabulous show. And so we thank you for that. I want to talk to you a little bit about the final. You got out front. Things got a little hairy there for a while, but then you got out front, and it was just a matter, I would assume, of just defending your position. But boy, you had a boat in your left side and your right side rearview mirror. Hop and Canfoosh did not want to let you go at all.
No one was going to let up, obviously. I was pushing that whole time. Jeff Bernard was in my ear, giving me where the locations where they were at. But yeah, my heart is still pumping. That was a lot of fun.
Well, it was a lot of fun for us too. And I know you and I have spoke. You are very, very honored to represent the Miss Madison racing team. Try and stick it into words. Yes, it's virtual racing, but as we've talked all day, you're a competitor. You want to win. Try and put into words, what does it mean to A, win the first ever H1 Unlimited E-League Gold Cup, and B, albeit virtual, you did it in Madison, Indiana in front of the hometown fans.
Yeah, Brad, I mean, just like every other race, whether it's virtual or real, being able to win a Gold Cup in Madison and the first one in this virtual league, no one can ever take that away. And, you know, if we have a virtual trophy, you know, Madison, Indiana, is going to be right there, the very first winner. And that's incredible. I'm so glad we were able to go out there. It was tough at the start. I wasn't quite sure what people were going to do. It's been all over the place today with the leapfrog and all that. But yeah, I'm putting in words, but not very good ones, I'm afraid.
I think you're doing an outstanding job. My last question I want to say, or my last statement is, we've been talking today about viewing parties that are going on all across the country. I am told there is a viewing party going on actually in the pit area on the banks of the Ohio, right there in Madison, Indiana. You know, there's a lot of people right now listening to Kelsey Best in the state of Indiana, specifically in Madison. What do you want to say to them?
Go celebrate. This one was for you guys. This was incredible. There's my wife and her family are all at a viewing party. Thankfully, they took my son, who's 3, so he's not a distraction during the race, out of the house. So I don't really have anyone to celebrate with now, but that's okay. I'd like to thank, obviously, the Home Street Bank and the citizens of Madison, Indiana, for being a part of this sport. Staples, Atomic Screen Printing, Jesse Stitches, obviously, for help supporting this E-League event. I'm going to still shout out to Scott. He had an awesome weekend, and he's given us this awesome platform to go race. I'd also like to thank the Bonassini family. Big part of why I've been in hydroplane racing is down to them, and just want to give them a shout out as well.
Well, you drove with that family for a number of years up here in the Northwest.
Yes. Yeah, it was very, very good memories. And unfortunately, life circumstances meant I had to move to Arizona. And unfortunately, you know, boat racing isn't nearly as big here as in the Pacific Northwest. But I'm obviously with Scott in this platform, still able to go and get the adrenaline going. It's still going right now.
Well, congratulations. Scott Rainey, you got something you'd like to ask this young man or congratulate him?
Well, first of all, congratulations. That was an impressive day, and you made a great choices there for the inside lane in the final heat and held them off, and a great job driving. It was entertaining for all of us to watch your display of and your skills.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Obviously, it was a tough race. Every single person in that heat could have won. And even after the 1 minute pin, I still wasn't sure where we were at. And I got up a bit earlier than where I thought I wanted to be and where I wanted to be. but was still able to find a mark and hit a decent enough start.
Well, that's
So-
great. You can probably expect to see your picture on the front page of the Madison Courier holding up that gold cup tomorrow.
I love it.
That's incredible.
Oh, gosh. Well, congratulations. So, our first H1 Unlimited E-League APBA Gold Cup is in the books. And it was extremely exciting. We didn't know who was going to win it all day long. Scott Rainey, I'll look to you for some first closing comments. But before we get there, this all came together with you and me working on this broadcast very, very quickly. And we both learned of it not long before the whole broadcast started. You did an outstanding job, my friend. This was a lot of fun. I think we ought to do this again.
Yeah, I gotta go rest. That was a lot of work. You guys have it hard.
Oh, gosh. Well, thank you for a job well done. You got any closing comments you want to throw on it?
Well, I just actually look forward to the next event here in a few weeks. This has been a lot of fun and quite an honor to be able to work with you. And I also, look forward to when we can, take our U11 out there and go race in Madison and go race in Gunnersville and some of these other places. Maybe we get to race in Tri-Cities in San Diego this year. I'm really, really eager to go do that.
I know you are, young man, and we are very anxious to watch you go do that. Let's hope. In the meantime, everybody be diligent about your social distancing and following the rules. We'll make it happen.
Well, thanks, Brad. We will talk to you soon.
We will indeed, and we'll talk a little bit about that race on the Columbia River. I am being told that race is going to happen, and it is going to happen next Saturday. So next weekend, we will be in the Tri-Cities on the Columbia River as we head out west. Come back from the Midwest and the East. We'll come out west to the beautiful blue waters of the Columbia River. That is what is next up for the H1 Unlimited E Series. Congratulations one last time to the U6, the Miss Home Street and Kelsey Best. They are the winner of the first ever H1 E-League APBA Gold Cup. As you heard from Kelsey, he was very, very excited. In addition to thanking Scott Rainey, I also, for his efforts today, I want to put a special thanks out there to our producer engineers today, Jared and Tate Meyer. The guys are absolutely awesome. We all watch their videos online on YouTube. They do such a terrific job, and the amount of work they do for this sport, you couldn't even begin to put it into words. A special thanks as well to Emily and Shannon Rainey for all their help behind the scenes. And if you want to talk about people that are active within our sport and what gets done with this sport behind the scenes, this is a family. This is a working family of the sport. And we all owe the Rainey family an incredible debt of gratitude for all they do. Don't forget us on Facebook. Post on there. Let us know what you thought. Tell us where you watch. Next up for the H1 Unlimited E Series, as I said, we head out west to the Tri-Cities Columbia Cup. It's always a fan favorite. As you heard, Scott said he'll be there, as will I. We hope you will be too. Until then, on behalf of Scott Rainey and our entire production team, so long, everyone, from Madison, Indiana.